Ladies and gentlemen, Rumble on Rumble is back and we are live. Pew, 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 pew. Of course, with my man Protocol. I am your other host, co-host, Michael Fresh Mike C. Hall. I'll let everybody go figure it out soon enough anyway. FW Mike on Twitter. That's because some people call me Fresh Mike. Some people call me White Mike. Some people call me your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. Some people say it's not fair how talented I am. I don't argue with them, but I do have compassion. Not everybody's me. However, I am here and I am live with my partner, and we are back to our form, which is a current events discussion of what's going on and how it actually directly relates to the everyday human person making probably 80 grand or less, double income, and just what it means to us as Americans, black, white, conservative folks, just doing it. So we are doing it live. Want to introduce my man, pew 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 pew, Protocol. How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling damn good, man. It's a good Sunday. Let me get my mic closer. Get my volume right. There we go. I sound good in the headphones now.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Drop that horn off. Yeah, man. It's a good Sunday, bro. I'm feeling good. Just got my little eat on. You know what I'm saying? Also got some food in the oven. It's gonna be cooking. I got my appetizer on. This wasn't really nothing to eat, but after this show, it's going down. I got my cook on today. I was in a space and I was cooking at the same time.
Yeah, no, you were talking today on a space. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, or it's up to you? But yeah, man, that was powerful.
It was a cool space, man. Something that needs to happen, as we said time and time in that space earlier. Shouts out to Carbon Mike, man. Carbon Mike is going through some hell of a things up in New York, man. He's just a brother, a patriot, a man with a family, and he was doing his God-given enumerated rights, or well, you would not say enumerated right. It was his God-given right, as a God-given right that shall not be infringed on in the country of the United States of America. Yeah, he was building some pew-pews, and they kick him a brother Doe, and now he's facing some charges, man, and it's very unconstitutional. It's the state of New York, man, so prayers up for him. And if you're listening in New York, if you know someone in New York, man, send them to Carbon Mike on Twitter and look into the information of what's going on with him, man, and prayers up to him and stand behind him because he's going to need the village. So today we were talking about just being men, and what's missing as far as being men and what's missing in the black community and conservatism in the black community, and just awesome conversations that need to be had. Those are the spaces that I look forward to getting in and building on with other men and making things freaking awesome. So, yeah, man, that was a good 4 hour space. It didn't even seem like 4 hours until I realized that I need to put a speed on with cooking because, dude, it was.
What are you cooking? What'd you cook?
I cooked some chicken and potatoes, some onions, some broccoli. Just nice. Made a nice little one disher. Threw it in the oven. Yep. There it is. Carbon Mike. He's on Twitter. Send the comments.
Show that love. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And also, man, this is how I know you're Southern, because you're like, man, I cooked onions. You know, in a lot of places they don't cook. It's not you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. That's
some
awesome.
good old Vidalia onions. Look, when you come, I'm going to send you home with some sweet Vidalia onions. All right.
Nice.
And those onions are like, yo, I don't know if there's some sweet in Oklahoma onions or anything. I don't know how that goes down, but I know these sweet Vidalias.
Lord, off the chain.
Yes,
heartbreakingly good. Yeah.
Yes.
No, Oklahoma has a funny little story about onions. Believe it or not.
Really?
We're the home of the onion burger. Much like soul food, you know what I mean? People forget that Oklahoma was the place where everybody poor went. It wasn't a state, and after the basically the depression of the 30s, a lot of people migrated here from both sides of the country, and everybody here was poor. I mean, dirt poor. I have great grandfathers, or I had a great grandfather who he passed when I was very young, but I remember them telling me stories about if he dropped a piece of food like in his lap, he would be like, "Don't throw that away," because they came up food insecure, which is something we're just not. We have no idea about. So,
Yet.
but anyway, they put the onions in the burgers to make them go farther because the onion, when an onion cooks up, especially with ground beef, it's sweet and it's nice. And they couldn't afford spices. Well, basically, they had red meat and they had onions, and they put onions in those burgers and they make them go farther, put a little crisp in there. And now it's a delicacy, a lot like soul food in that way. Onion burgers were for the poor people. So,
I just thought, that's just how you properly made a real burger, was to chop some onions up and mix it in the ground beef, which you mix it and make your patty. I don't know, but that's good to know that's where that came from. I just thought it was you said they're connected like with the Southern. I just thought that was it, but that's what's up. That's how I make my burgers, by the way. So if you get a pro turkey burger, or maybe if I'm lucky enough to cook someone a beef burger, awesome.
And that's fair, man. I love it. Yeah, man, I'm a skill man with onion. Man, you could do like this, you can do a little bit of butter. Of course, some seasonings. Everybody got their own. But believe it or not, man, I'm going to give you a little secret tip. A little bit of vanilla. What? Because you don't taste vanilla. But what it does is bring out the creaminess of an onion, which you only know that if you cook them, that there's a creamy sweetness to them. You know what I mean? But you put just like a drop of vanilla in your little spice mix. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. I love our people, man. They already go in it. We talking onions, and they talking the Constitution. LS in the building. Pew, 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 pew. Amy K. Hall in the building. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
What up? Thank you for participating, man. In fact, I need to send this stream to my man Cortez Coleman. We'll get into that in a second, but let's hit LS. New York is in the USA. How is this an issue? Supposedly, the Constitution supersedes the state's 2A all day. Amen. And it sounds like my man Carbon Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost sounds like his rights are being infringed. Shall not be infringed, yet his rights are being infringed. So
infringed. Big infringed.
That's what I'm saying.
Came in the man house. Oh, you're building guns. Yeah, but I'm not doing anything. Like, this is my right. Why can't I do this?
Remember, man, whatever they say, Amy says you're right, LS. I understand the hard stance on the crime, but the bill. Yeah. Which, and here's the problem. They take our ability to handle crime our way, which would be much more effective and quicker. Yeah, just straight up. There's no argument there. So, it's one of those things. Bill of Rights is American gospel. I agree. We focus a lot on the Constitution, and not that it's not important, but the Bill of Rights is almost the TLDR version. I know it falls way short, but it basically is like, look, here are your things. You know what I mean? And you have an inalienable right to those things. So, and she says she married me for my kitchen skills. Fact. But anyway, I absolutely agree that the rights are inalienable. And yeah, man, we're gonna get some folks on that. I'm gonna reach out to Ryan Long, pretty popular comedian out there. Excuse me, he's in New York. We got some folks, man. I know Phil Labonte's up there. He's a very big pro 2A guy, of course.
Right.
Have you heard, side note, while we're just kind of, before we break into it, have you heard of the New Hampshire Free State Project?
No. I mean, I think I've heard of it in passing, but it's nothing that I've, dived completely in. So,
Very interesting, man. The thing about it is, basically they're creating a pure, almost pure libertarian state in New Hampshire. And they, something that everybody else forgets about, they voted in enough local politicians where they've basically seceded. So it's like they're a territory that is occupied by the state, if you will, in a way. And that they pay their taxes to the state. They don't do anything where New Hampshire can come down on them. They're playing it right. But they're forcing every bit of possible independence and freedom that you can milk out of the Constitution that we deserve. They're doing that, right? So it's interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it other than they're like, come here. We have jobs. If you need jobs, what are you good at? We need people to build and that kind of thing. I'm like, I'd be in sales, but whatever. Because they're going to be creating products, and they're going to need a guy who knows how to reach out to people and go, these products are great.
Right.
So
right. Yo,
that's what we do, though.
I've jumped in now. I see them. They are officially bookmarked, and oh yeah, I'm about to learn about this here Free State project because that sounds like something that can be copied and implemented really across the country because that's what it needs to be. Like we have to get back to our bare basic roots of being citizens in this country.
Yes.
States have the rights, and within the states having the rights, the lower municipalities have the rights in the state. It's the municipalities that build up the right of the state, and the states build up the rights of the nation or the Fed.
And that's why we got to, one, be careful about those HOAs. You know, that was something that I was realizing is they operate with almost impunity, you know, in that they've worked the laws because it's so much easier to get a city law change. You know, Midwest City, Oklahoma, you know what I mean? You know, what was it? You were in Macon, I think, last night on the road. You know, Macon, Georgia, whatever. You can affect, I mean, it takes 25, 30 people going down to that city hall every day consistently, messing up the procedures, annoying the people in power before you probably can make a pretty legitimate change if it's that important to you, right? So it's those types of things. The problem is they don't put that all together. But that's, man, if there's one thing I'm seeing, I wanted to go into it. This is we're about 11 minutes in. If you're cool, we will. But
Let's jump.
oh man, that's the one thing I'm seeing right now is that there is so much of this stupidity, just playing on stupidity. Like these people depend on you being stupid, period. And that's the deal. If you stop and try to ask why are they doing this, let's put two and two together, anything like that, then, you know, then their shit falls apart. Pardon my language. Their stuff falls apart. HOAs are hardly, if ever, for the actual homeowners. Absolutely. They're the brown shirts. HOAs are basically Caucasian brown shirts, in my opinion. So, agreed. So, want to get into it, man. First thing, because it's probably the oldest thing, because it basically came out, you know, early this week. And so much has happened in the past. It feels like if we lived a month in the first week of the year.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is we're 7. Today is the 7th day.
Ooh.
The 7th. So we're not even fully in a whole week yet.
It's like, I feel like, you know how it is, man, when you're at war. You know what I mean? You don't even know what day it is. You just know, I sleep a little, I eat a little, then I make sure my gun is working, and I go back out there, right? So
pretty much.
But Dave Chappelle's special, amazing.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was
so
a great
good.
One. Hope you guys didn't come here thinking that I was going to joke on a particular community. Because if you came to that show for this isn't the show for you.
Plus, that's my job. We got to get you platformed,
Replatformed.
I need people to vote for you in a couple of years, man. So,
well, they're going to do it
let
anyway.
me be the bad guy. Yes.
No, they're gonna vote for me because I am the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the anti-hero, if you would, right? Because the hero is the one that they've been thinking was the ones that they were voting in to go in there and fix it, and they're not fixing it. And I'm telling you that they're not fixing it, and you thought they were the good guys, but really they're not the good guy. And I'm the guy who's a good guy, but I'm not trying to be the good guy. I just want to be the guy who lives good.
That's what I'm saying. And we would be so much better off as a country if people stayed out of other people's homes. I just really believe that. Because when you break it down and you deal with enough people, you realize everybody runs their home different. You know what I mean? If you came to my house and I forgot to give you a wash rag, you stayed overnight, and I forgot to give you a wash rag to walk into the shower, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with these people, right? Whereas, you know what I mean? I scrub up. You know what I'm saying? My wife uses a loofah, but I'm just like, you know, that's what my soap is for. I'm the only one who uses it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know. And so everybody's a little different, and it doesn't make them right or wrong. But we spend so much time trying to, criticize and figure out how we can get other people to live the life we want or that we think they should be living. And this is why I love Jordan Peterson, because he says on that, clean your room. It changed my life when I heard that. I have no right to tell anybody else how to live if I can't do the basics in keeping my life good.
That's it.
And you realize, oh, people are so caught up in that, man. And They think their happiness is getting other people to bend to their will instead of doing what's right. Because doing what's right's hard. So, anyway, speaking of doing what's right, man, yes, this Chappelle special was straight fire. And, man, here's the thing about it. He made it okay. I think we might have talked a little bit about this, off air. But he made it okay. You need a guy like that. I was thinking about how, and we'll get into Cat in a second, but how these guys get canceled. And then there's a guy on Sam Tripoli's show that's been canceled. But I'm like, but you had to get there first, okay? I got canceled before I got there. I got canceled before I got the opportunity, just for saying I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton, and probably not, letting them get me. But we'll get into that. So, but anyway, it was great to see Dave Chappelle, because you need someone who's considered one of the best in the world to do something. It's like when Jimi Hendrix came out and started playing guitar with his teeth. No one had ever seen that, but guess what you got for the next 20 years? Dudes playing guitar with their teeth. Like it or hate it, it takes somebody who is one of the best in the world and so highly respected at their craft. It takes that for it to be okay. And I don't love the rules, but those are just the rules, man. And the fact that he came out and he's like, I'm going to make fun of who I want to make fun of because I love punching down. And I think his whole point, because he kept saying I love punching down, is that no. And the one thing it made me realize is how important humor is. Because we other so many people. We other everybody. You know what I mean? If a man is in a wheelchair, we other him.
Yep.
If he's black, I other, especially if it's a black man with dreads, you other them. That's a different person.
Yep.
And the whole liberal, stupid ideology of, you don't understand them at all. Guess what? When they're hungry, they want to eat. Okay? When they're cold, they want warmth. Sorry, I'm not going to get wound up.
It's okay.
Human beings are all human beings have, and there is a large political apparatus that is very invested in telling us that we can't count on each other, and that everyone is inferior to me, and I got to keep looking at my screen and letting the government tell me what to do, and everything would be fine if I could just get them more money and more power. And if I have to hurt my neighbor to do it, well, so fucking be it. And no. That's wrong. And they are ratcheting it up because we're going into an election year, man. So, Anyway, it's so frustrating. And the thing is, man, there are handicapped people out there that have a lot going in their life. They're more functioning and better human beings than millionaires whose asses we kiss. And that we would bend over backwards and do a cartwheel if they liked one of our Twitter posts. And these people are trash.
And there it is.
Yes. And there's a dude in a wheelchair that's doing his best to have a smile on his face and be a kind dude. And these people can change your life for the better. They can show you what real gratitude is. They can show you what real you ain't tough because you came up. I came up poor. What makes you tough is not. I got a friend that is missing 2 legs, born with no legs and no arm. He has 1 arm of 4. He has 1 working arm. And the dude is a comedian. His name is Israel Goldman. Look him up. He makes jokes about that because he's so not a Jewish dude. He's a big, hippie stoner type of dude. He's older. But to a dude like that to decide to go out on stage in front of people, and people talk shit. So, I've been with other comedians that are like, man, he does mushrooms and he smokes a lot of pot and he's just, I don't know what's his problem. I'm like, dude, I can't imagine what it is to be him.
I'm trying to tell you, you don't know what his problem. You don't know what, bitch, you walking. You got 2 legs and 10 toes and 2 feet. Like, what do you mean? I don't know what his problem is. How about that? Like that's like, oh, I don't see color.
Yeah.
Really, nigga? Really?
Well, and what's frustrating about that is what we forget. It's that social thing.
Yeah.
It's that other uncompassionate, and it's subconscious. Think about this for a second. In the wild, if one of the animals are sick or wounded, they get the hell away from that animal, right? It's just human nature. But we have to be better than that. We have to understand and look. For me, I say through Christ eyes, but I mean just more evolved eyes for folks who, might want to fight me on I'm not doing that. The point is that we need to understand, man, that there are folks out there, and what hurts them the most is not that they don't have legs. They're never going to have legs, right? That's not what hurts them. Right. What hurts them is how they're treated when they go to Walmart, What hurts
Right.
them is how they're treated when they go to 7-Eleven and they are
Right.
treated like a pariah. Oh, don't touch them. Don't look at them. Have you ever worked with, maybe emotionally or mentally disabled people and you look them in the eye and you go, you're a human being. You're valuable. I'm going to treat you like anyone else. And you touch them, you shake your hand, you hug them. It's a different thing. And it's because they've been
Hmm.
othered their whole life, man. And I'm very passionate about this, dude,
And
because I
as
think we
you
would have
should,
a
because it's
much better
right.
world. So, yeah, man, we don't treat people good. And yeah, maybe it started out with racism. You know what I mean, for me, and seeing how folks treated other people of just different skin color. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden it goes to, I mean, there are people who don't have a choice of not having legs, and then that's already two strikes against you. Or down, whatever the case. But anyway, if we allowed these people to be a part of our society instead of doing the thing that the liberals do to black folks, which is we've got to protect you, weak victim, and you better depend on us. And now it's the immigrants, and it's we're giving you the phone and we're giving you the card that has,
Hmm.
whatever, 1,000 a month on it. We're giving you your housing. We're feeding you. So you better depend on us because there is no way anybody out there knows what's best. So anyway, my man LS says the most striking comparison to Chappelle made was being handicapped doesn't give a fudge about what you actually identify as. Yes. Yes.
Oh, you're black. I'm not going to handicap you because you got to go out here in the world. All these people are going to dislike you. Oh yeah, I'm only giving this handicap to this white person because of white supremacy. Like,
Yeah, if you're black and handicapped, just come live with me. I got you. Like, I can't.
I mean, but that's that. I mean, that's the world that they make it out to be, man. And it's just wild. It is crazy. But we have to be like, I respect comedians who do that, who have some type of disability that people openly or not openly joke about, who turn around and say, oh, okay, well, they're going to make me a joke. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a joke. You know what I'm saying? And I might, Kevin Hart it, laugh at my pain, you know what I'm saying? Or, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing and make people laugh. Well, since people are going to look at me and laugh, I'm going to make people look at me and laugh. Like,
Yes.
listen to me, but look at me and laugh. And instead of you laughing at, oh, haha, you're missing legs and you only have one arm, it's like, oh, haha, this dude with no legs and one arm was telling the craziest of jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was great, man. I love that. He got up there on stage knowing that people are going to look at him differently and made them like forget that they're looking at him differently and like get caught on this level of joy and laughter, right, together. And it's just awesome, man. I respect that. And that's where we have to get. Like, I respect those type of people who know people look at them differently and still get up there and do what they do and stand on business. That's why I move the way that I do. Like, I know people look at me differently, but I stand on business. And, eventually they'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. And I'm going to be righteous in everything that I do. I love a Dave Chappelle. I love a Cat Williams, right? Bernie Mac, that was my dude. People call him an ugly black motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, it was there, but he still stood up.
I ain't scared of you, but if I give a motherfucker $25, I love me some Bernie. He was real to me the probably overall biggest loss just because of where he was going to go and what he was going to do is Patrice O'Neal. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
so I mean he was Pryor. If Sam Kinison and Richard Pryor had a baby, it would have been Patrice O'Neal. He
Patrice
was
O'Neal.
like the best of both worlds coming together to be this hilarious, honest dude. So a couple things about that Chappelle special. He starts out talking about Cawthorn. Is it Hawthorne or Cawthorne? Madison. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Madison. Mhm.
ain't nobody. It's not because I don't believe it doesn't happen. Who would invite a paraplegic to the? I mean, unless he's like, I can't feel nothing.
I called him just to be able to do something that I know he can't.
Exactly.
Run away.
And then did you see there was a picture of him? And I guess Madison went to one of his shows.
Really?
And they asked him, were you offended? He was like, I love getting roasted by Dave Chappelle. That was awesome. That was great.
Who wouldn't? Listen.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to be the dude who's sitting in the front row with the crazy outfit that gets roasted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah. Well, that guy comes. I mean, and also there are those people, bro. As a retired professional comedian, they do come and wear wacky shit and sit in front on purpose because they want you to talk about.
Yeah,
them.
they want you to talk. Right. That's what
they're dying for it.
I wouldn't mind being, you know, I'm a pretty big dude. I'm not, you know, like morbidly obese, you know what I mean? But like I'm definitely, if I go ahead and tone up, it's like, damn, that's a big guy right there, you know? So to be that guy.
Also, you swing a hammer for a living, bro. Well, not for, I mean, you choose to get in there with your folks and do the real work.
Yeah, absolutely. And in doing that, having a smaller woman, because I typically am going to have a smaller woman, whether it's a thin woman or a short woman, like I'm going to have a smaller woman. I want to be that guy. You know, I wouldn't be Sherman Klump and just, you know, canned up and like, nah, hell yeah, I got Miss Purdy, nigga. I'm waxing Miss Purdy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I want to be that guy. Look at this big dude with this little woman. Yeah, who's sucking on whose titties over here, bitch? We sucking on each other titties. The hell you talking about? Like I would love that roast, you know, because now I'm going to live in infamy that, bitch, I got roasted by Dave Chappelle, and it's going to live forever.
Yes, you know what they got rid of that I wish they still had that I lived for as a kid? The Comedy Central roast. They come out twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's what people, I said this, you know, when me and Rudy were beefing on the HJ show because he was mad that I roasted the fuck out of him because this is the game I played, dummy. You drive a tow truck and brag about shooting people. I am a professional troll. You know what I mean? I am what Bruce Lee was to martial arts, I am to words. Okay, so stop. All right.
Bars.
I will beat you look, let's not, no braggery needed. I posted this the other day, and it's from one of my favorites, Chael Sonnen. If you're into MMA, and even if you're not, just the Chael Sonnen, and he does like 9-minute podcasts 3 times a day, you know, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Guy Inc. is his brand, former UFC champ, and he was the first heel in the UFC. And the other day was breaking down a heel. He's like, so few people know how to be heels because they can't take the booze. They don't know what it means for the promotion. They don't know the role they're playing. And he's like, there are some people that were genuinely the best heels because not only did they not mind the booze, they knew how to use that. They knew how to use the crowd's hate. And they knew that is a far more powerful emotion. If I can get you to hate me, I actually can control you more than if you like me. Because you still always have the option to not like me. If you hate me, it's very hard to bring you over. So whatever emotion you're in, if I know how to work you in that emotion, it's much easier. He mentioned The Rock, one of the best heels in history of heeldom. Agreed. He mentioned, and he mentioned Stone Cold. Once again, yes. For me, my favorite was Triple H. Because I love Triple H. And then the man played the character all the way through to actually marrying Stephanie. I mean, he's like, I'm the pedigree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be no one better to come after me. And now he runs the company.
Now he runs the company. I married the boss's wife, and now I run the company. You know, like.
He figured out how to work a script in that he was dating Stephanie, and he was actually married, and she was married to another person at the time. Mm-hmm. But he figured out a way to work that into a script, and then he was like, "Oh man, I like this billionaire life.
This is nice. This is real nice."
But when he came out, it wasn't. The thing I liked about him is that he was always him. It was never the opponent. This is something that it's hard to do. Is that it wasn't, his opponent didn't affect who he was. It wasn't because of this opponent, I'm going to do this. No, it was, I'm a bad guy. Fuck you. Let's fight about it. Yep. Period. I'm the best. Boo all you want. I'm the best, bitch. You know, and that's,
right.
If you notice when I play the heel, that's how I play it. Is I'm right, you're wrong. Boo me all you want. Let's go. And then the hardest thing, or the basically as a heel, you get to have a choice, right? Mm-hmm. You get to keep playing the heel. You get to get beat and run out of town, loser leaves town match, or you get to do a face turn. face turn is the hardest. So anyway, and as you witnessed, I got to do a face turn, man. I was I got to my face turn. I was like, that worked, bro. It worked so well. Look at where we're at now. It's like,
Right.
wow, man.
Right.
The idea to call
'cause
into a podcast to now, that's a wow, man. Sometimes this shit works better than you thought.
works way better. But that's as my man says, I love it when a plan comes together. And that's what that's what happened. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, because you brought it up. So that's my white. I got two white boys. I got Fresh Mike, my partner in crime, and I got my dog Rudy. And listen, that's my dog. All right.
You can do better.
Yeah, and I feel like Rudy is my better. You know what I'm saying? Like it can get better. It can always get better. There's always room for improvement. But like I always feel like, you gotta have the streets. You gotta have a street white dude that can go in the street white dude areas, you know what I'm saying, and be able to handle them. You know what I'm saying? You should always have them, on hand, on side. Goobity Gooks in the building. Shouts out to Goobity Gook.
Unless I see your comment, and we'll hit it in a second for sure.
So, and having that, like, I'm like, when I coming into Hotep Nation, that was one of the dudes who was right there off the muscle, you know what I'm saying, who was seeing what it was. We were communicating, we was right there. So, when you guys did your whole bit, I was like, oh man, this is my dog, and this is my dog, and okay, I'm gonna talk to you, and like, God, y'all just don't get crazy. And then it was like, hey, we're burying the hatchet. And I heard HJ was like, yeah, we're going to get the picture. No, HJ, you can't get it before I do. Not going to happen, HJ. I just want you to know. I love you, though. You know what I'm saying? You're the big dog. But, hey, man, it's a race. It's a race to see who's
and it's not, because here's the thing, man. I got a list. You know what I mean? And this is no offense to anyone on the list. If you're on the list, word, like, I love yous. I got your back. I got a list, and definitely when it comes to this world and what we're doing now, if you say I want this first, well then if I'm involved, that's what it is. I mean, we don't pro gets it. You know what I mean? You have my back before anybody else. You have my back.
Absolutely.
And anyway, we don't need to get all into it, but let's just
we won't,
you
we
already
won't
know.
get all into it, but yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm here, you're here, we here to the end, baby.
I might have to take a bullet for your ass one day.
No, because listen, I have vest. All right.
Fair.
So I will make sure that no. We all go home at night, okay? We're all going home at night.
But don't you kind of want somebody to mess up so we can like pull out our pews and just see? You know what I mean? Like when somebody's talking smack, I'm like, well, just come to the gym on Thursday night. Maybe you'll whip my ass and I will learn that you are right. Or maybe you'll get humbled. Maybe you get to punch me in the face. You got a problem? Thursday night, meet me at this gym. Legally, no police called. You get to beat me up if you think you can. Come on, let's go.
Yeah,
and let's
get
just
it on.
see. And maybe you will. I'm smart enough and man enough to know that I am not a badass. You know what I mean?
Wifey says no. It's okay.
For a good cause, babe.
It's for he's not. It's not. We're not going to go that bad.
Plus, I'm good with my 9. I'm
Yeah.
crafty with my 9.
There it
You
is.
better be really good with yours if you're going to, you know what I mean? So, anyway. So, shout out LS. Let's get to the. If you notice, handicap groups aren't calling for Chappelle to be canceled. The self-identifiers are. Yes, LS. I'm going to give you a pew, pew, pew myself on that. I have been in Facebook battles all week long about just all of this because, it all hit kind of at once. And then he called out LaFlop for taking EPOs. We got the same drug dealer. Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing I can tell you personally that I have. I don't have documentation, but I can tell you that I know pretty well is that, first of all, it's about 3 drug dealers in LA. Period. Right? I'm talking for celebrities. I mean, I know, there's nobody in the corner. But the famous people, if you're signed to CAA, there's a, creative artist agency, look it up, largest, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, point is, if you're signed to CAA, there's about 3 drug dealers they use, period. This is why, if you remember in the grunge era, all the white lead singers, it was Kurt Cobain, and then it was Lane Staley, and then it was my man from oh gosh, because he's my favorite one. Kurt Cobain, Lane Staley, and then Stone Temple Pilots guy Scott Weiland.
Right.
So I loved STP because they weren't cheese and they were just, Anyway, STP is one of my favorite rock bands. Back in the day, they all died because they were all getting the bad doses from the same guy. The same guy gave them all the same heroin, right? And then remember when Stone Gossard of Pearl Jam overdosed and died. These people were getting the same shit. It was just time to, they were taking over music again in that way. It was time to shut them down, So anyway, I know for a fact there's that. So, but Dave Chappelle came out, and then, man, of course, brilliant, genius. The one thing is kind of how he ended it was so brilliant and beautiful, man. And he did the thing, and this is why I love him, because he's a thinker. He just, like I said, I compared it to Jimmy. It's just, you don't have it because you're not that. And that's fine. I don't, because I'm not. I know that, though. But when he was talking about the dreams, and, the name of the special is Dreamer. And he was talking about, it was my dream to be here. And it was my dream to do this. And I got beat up along the way and thought I had lost my dreams. I'm paraphrasing. And he's like, but then I realized it's not my dream. It's your dream. And this is something, like that's the whole goal, isn't it? Pursue your dream to then become somebody else's dream. That's a beautiful thing, Like there's a way life works, man. You know what I mean? That's, if you don't believe there is a way life works, eat a fruit, right? A fruit has a seed in it. That fruit produces something healthy and sweet, then it goes back into the ground to produce more things that provide more nourishment, that then provide more. And not to get too hippy-dippy, because I know we're pretty well, I could tell me and you haven't talked in a while. We had some, because we got some, Anyway, to end that, I just wanted people to know, the idea of the dreamer, and the fact that when you are a dreamer, the goal is to live in somebody else's dream eventually, meaning when me and you do Rumble on Rumble Live and we're selling out theaters, that's somebody else's dream. That's going to be their IG post. You know what I mean? That's going to be, I went to this. I met these guys. They're going to be able to shake our hand and look us in the eye, and that's a big deal to them, which is crazy because they're a big deal to me and you. But that's the beautiful thing about things like dreams and work. Me and you come together, and it's not just Mike's work and Pro's work, and all of a sudden it's double the work. No, it's exponentially more. In the same way, if I get a tire rolling down a hill, it doesn't double. It exponentially goes faster and faster, creating more energy. So, all right, man, that's my white boy rant. But
hey, man,
anyway,
run it. White boy
I know
rants,
you've been in
black
all
boy
kinds
rants.
of cover. I'm feeling good, dude. I got to talk to Bryson this morning, actually, or
did
this
you?
afternoon. On
That's what's up.
on a he still hasn't responded back to the show, but he had a Spaces, and I didn't realize like he was going to let me on. Like they were talking about the name of the Spaces was his Country Music Degenerate, and he was kind of comparing hip hop to country, and I'm like, oh well, they just set the table. Allow the man who knows how to eat here. Come on, and even I'm from Oklahoma, and So anyway, I got to jump in and he let me talk a little bit, and then of course it went to a very deep discussion of Catholic versus Christian, and that was, you know what I mean. Then you came on and I jumped on yours, but for a cool hour and a half, and I just hit the thing. He's like, Mike, you there? And I was like, yeah, hi. You know what I mean?
Modest white boy enter,
And then I said my little piece, right? And then I like shut it off and moved on. And they were talking, and it was like, Mike, would you like to respond to that? And I was like, oh crap! And I was trying to
get back to it. I was like, hey, I'm busy, guys. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, man, but it was cool, man. I got to do that. So, I mean, he knows me now. He knows I exist. He knows I'm in his inbox. I'm gonna go ahead and spam him and hit him up with a third unreplied to message tomorrow. So, but he knows who I am now, and he knows I'm on the lick. And real fast, let me just send a serious shout out to Bryson Gray. I know my man Pro, knows him, met him personally and things, but I don't. And the fact that his music, his videos, his posts, who he is being, and what he's decided to do is ministering to me as a Christian man to be better. Now, I'm not saying it's the way everybody has to go, which I'm sure he actually would disagree with that on. But for me, I understand. I can't go to, I don't know. I can't go to Saudi Arabia you know,
Hmm.
and go into the deepest parts of Saudi Arabia and go, no, you're all going to hell. That's
Right.
not how that works. Plus, I believe you got to love all, right? Anyway, long story short, he's convicting me, or his posts are creating conviction within inside me to just be a better man, be smarter, be patient, be calmer. You know what I mean? Understand that if we are going to war, we need level heads, we need calm folks, we need more protocols and less Michael C. Hall. I got to remember that one.
We need some of all of us.
Yeah, man, we're gonna need the energy. We're gonna need the crazy Alex Jones energy. But you know,
Because
we,
the turn
we
the frogs
really,
gay.
but we, but we really need protocols. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
oh, if
I'm
we could
gonna be
only
here,
find a
man.
crazy white boy willing to scream into a microphone over the internet. Oh,
I know this pretty fresh dude. His name's he likes mics. Been talking to a mic. Matter of fact, I think they already knew that he was going to be good for mics because they named him Mike. So you
right?
know, hey, yeah, we'll
Hey,
see
oh,
what goes
bro.
from there.
But yeah, man, hit me with what did you feel about that, man? Because clearly you're pursuing a dream. You know, I know you're a very practical cat, and I know most of the time when we talk, it's about very practical things, or you know, if we're just having a holiday hang stream. But you know, a little bit deeper into that, like clearly you're pursuing dreams, man. You have something in your heart. No one works as hard as you do and puts out as quality of a product as you do without believing in their heart that this is what they need to be doing. So, you know, tell me about that.
Man, it's just a grind of understanding that there's something bigger than me, right? There's a collective, there's an understanding, there's a situation bigger than me. So because I want to pour into that situation that's bigger than me, I want my kids and their kids to have something to look up to more than just this statue or this bust of myself that I create or have created. I want this body of work to stand, right? Um I want to be accomplished within myself. So in that I grind. I want these things to be done. I can't get someone to do it. I'll learn and I'll do it myself, you know. Someone tells me that I can't do it. You can tell me I can't. Bitch, hold my beer. You know what I'm saying? And watch me get to work and I'm going to build and I'm going to do it. And then it's going to be you couldn't do that or you can't do that to damn he did it. And then now what's going to be your solution? Now that I've done it, are you going to stand and support me and help me keep it going or is it going to be hate poured onto it because I did it when you said that I couldn't do it and now I made a true liar out of you. I also made you a believer, but I also made you a liar. You know what I'm saying? What side are you going to be on? Are you going to operate in the side of being a believer and making it happen and then have it like, oh, well, shit, if he was able to do it when someone told him he couldn't do it, I can do it, you know, and let me do this with him. Or let me do this with myself because I know it's possible because, you know, people told me I couldn't do something just like I told him he couldn't do it, but he did it. So, you know, it's all about the build, right? It's all about understanding in the buy-in that it's something bigger than me. It's my kids and my kids' kids and making my ancestors proud and making my parents proud and making the kids in the neighborhood or my teachers who taught me in school, making them proud. Like that's what it's about to me. Um, and I can understand where Chappelle was like, you know, hey, I'm in the club and, you know, I'm over there and I'm feeling a particular way and had these shots and I'm just looking around. And then there's this dude over there who's like, it's got to be his birthday or something. He's having the time of his life, you know, and it's like, I'm in his dream now. He's living his dream. And it's like, nah, he can tell people, yeah, I'm in the VIP at the club and I'm turning up and I'm in there with Dave Chappelle. He's right across the way. I'm nodding at him and he's nodding at me. And, you know, like it's that. It's being able to give that joy to help build on to something else. Because it's that experience that someone has. It's like, oh, shit, I thought I would never be in a party in the club with Dave Chappelle. And now I'm here with Dave Chappelle. So I get it. What's the next thing? I thought I couldn't, but I did it. So now what's next, man? What we about to do? What we about
Hell
to
yeah.
do? Oh man, I just found this video. You was talking about Bryson. I am about to I'm about to share this. about to screen share this. No, he was talking about this is when we were up in DC, man. We went to DC. We went to the White House. This is from trying to see. Okay, there it is. This is from the Uncle Tom documentary.
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They already did the Uncle Tom documentary. We're right there, and you see, I'm right there.
Is that you?
That is me.
Gangster in the building.
Yep. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Just a big OG. It's like, so it's me. It's my dude, Uber guy, man. Shouts out to Uber guy back there, man. I love that dude. Like, so I've met a handful of great people, going up to this event in DC, and Uber guy's one young kid. Oh man, I think that's Chandler. I think that's his name. Young cat. He's a young MAGA cat. He was like a high schooler at the time. And then, of course, you know who this man right here is bopping on the side.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? We're out there.
I've seen that cat, the one behind you, behind the young man that you're standing directly next to. Yeah, him.
Uber.
I've seen him, man. Like, I can't remember where, but I've seen him, like, talking and stuff. So
Yeah, man. Cool guy, man. I met a handful of cool guys. And this is where, like, Bryson, like, we was out there, like, we took over DC. Like, you got a whole bunch of young black conservatives all over DC. You know what I'm saying? We just left out the White House. Like, we turned it up like, this our block. We on point, you know what I'm saying? When it came to take this thing over, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what y'all think this is, but we here. we here. So Bryson, I don't know what happened. We were all getting something to eat. And we all went, like, different places or whatnot. And shouts out to Fam. Fam was cool as hell, too. Like, I met a lot of cool people. I met P. Ray up there, actually. I met P. Ray at the event as well, man. Had a great conversation with P. Ray and was like, oh, yeah, this my girl right here. We on one. So, but Bryson went and got something to eat. And he went dolo, right? Big MAGA hat. Like, this is when he was wearing big MAGA hat. Big MAGA hat. And he calls... He was like, yeah, Bryson just got, I think he was with his sister. He was like, Bryson just got into it with some dudes because, you know, he had on the MAGA hat and we were in DC and we were like in the black area of DC and they got mad, but did they do something? Nah, they ain't do nothing. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. It's like, we're all ready to like, oh, where y'all at? Man, we coming, you know, like, cause, you know what I'm saying? It was one of them situations, but it was all good. And that's when I knew, like, oh, be a real one. B was dolo, stood 10 toes down on his square. You know, but you ain't gonna take my hat though. And they did, like, no one took the hat because this was, you know, this during the time where everybody like, oh, you got on a MAGA hat? I'm gonna snatch your hat. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take your hat. Like, oh, all right. You know, I heard people say that here. You know what I mean? But I still got my hat though. You know, like, y'all ain't took my MAGA hat. Come get it. Matter of fact, here's the address of where I'll be. Come get it. You know. And nobody came.
I ain't nothing but 180 pounds of bone and flesh. Anytime you think you got something for me, bring it.
Bring it, you know.
That's the problem. All these bitches like to talk. Nobody likes to bring it. And what I mean bring it, I don't necessarily always mean physically. You bring me a better idea. You bring me a man's argument. You bring me something intelligent to work with, too. You know, I don't necessarily, you know what I'm saying. So, but yeah, man, roll that video. I'm going to step away from the screen for like 10 seconds. But please roll that video. I can still hear it. Yeah,
I'll roll it. Let's get it.
This is our
amazing experience. Lots of regular Americans getting in there, having an opportunity to share laughs with the President of the United States. It was a great experience.
I shook his hand.
Awesome.
I lost my voice a little bit, so I'm sorry.
It was amazing. See that a great time. See the president, see the vice president, see many black American conservatives.
So it was just lit. It was energy. This is this is me and her third time. So every time we go, President Trump, he's like so funny and it's just lit. The energy is amazing every time. I feel warm.
Electrifying. Like, I caught chills. As soon as he came in, the way the crowd erupted.
R.I.P. to my dog, King Face.
And it was like,
The president said we blew his ears out.
Got a chance to listen to all the things that he's done for the black community. And I'm just grateful for this president. I didn't support him the last election. But after seeing what he's done and that speech he gave in there, he's convinced me I'm voting for him in 2020.
He made it very clear that he is here to put America first. You know, we have people suffering here But meanwhile, we're spending so much time and energy devoted towards illegals or people coming to this country unfairly. And, you know, Democrats have made a mess of our inner cities, but he is really trying to root all that mess out and really help people in the ways that are actually effective, rather than the empty lies and promises that Democrats have been giving, but we haven't had any results.
People are waking up. People are changing. Humans are naturally conservative. Because we're humans. You grow up being taught to work hard for what you don't grow up being told you're going to get something because you just want it. You're saying, like, you ain't got to work for it. When I went in the store and I tried to get a Snickers and I ain't had no money for it, mama smacked my hand, put that Snickers back. You feel me? Can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? But Democrats, they say, hey, we give you everything for free. That ain't reality. Because nothing is free because we pay for everything with our taxes. They work for us.
It was Donald Trump who woke me up, man. At first, when he was nominated and he was elected, I was not a big fan, but to see the things he's done for the black community, to see things he's done for America in particular, I'm a huge fan now, and he has my support 4 more years, and I'll be voting for Donald J. Trump. See you there.
And when he told us, when he asked us, what the hell do we have to lose? I said, that is exactly right. Our schools are horrible. Our communities are horrible.
We got to do something.
We have to do something about it.
He is.
But I know with him, we're going to make a big change here in America.
I think a lot of African Americans are waking up and they're coming to the realization that Trump is great for America.
Trump has done so many fantastic things, not only for, you know, what you think the white people or the rich people, but for the black people, for the Asian people, for the Latino people, for everyone. He has done something amazing, and he will keep doing things amazing. And when he is elected in 2020, he will continue to make this country better than it was before.
It's easy to get excited about a president who is putting your needs first. And that's too often something that we don't hear from the mainstream media, is the way he's trying to help America be the best that it can be. So it was fantastic to be there, you know, just basically tell him thank you for standing up for us, because we know that he takes a lot of hits from the media for us, and we're so happy to support him.
You gotta love this man. He brings togetherness, man, and that's what it's about, unity. As Americans, America first, man.
The media wants people to think that, you know, the black community hates Donald Trump, but that's not necessarily true. This event is proof, and I know you can say it's a small fraction of, you know, the black population, but they have family members and other people, friends who weren't able to come here, that they're ecstatic that they're here.
I don't think they're going to show this because they want to oh, Trump is racist. They're not going to show this because that's not a part of America.
They're going to want to ignore it and hope it goes away. That's how they deal with like an inconvenient fact. They'll bury it, they'll ignore it, or they'll twist it.
Because they don't want to pretty much deal with the truth. And the fact of the matter is, the conservative message resonates with Black America. And, you know, as time continues to turn, the Democrats are going to have to reckon with that eventually.
The little coverage that it seems that we do get in this movement is that we're paid, that we're tokens, that we're not actually believing in the voices that are speaking.
I ain't never got a check. I'm just going to go ahead and say. They say we were paid. I ain't never got a check.
And that we are being used and paid by politicians, and that's couldn't be so far from the truth. But that is how they like to hate us, specifically Black conservatives. They like to deem us as tokens.
Instead of just telling the truth. It seems like they're so scared to tell the truth because they know, like, our community will wake up if they get the truth out there.
The media for a long time has fooled the black community into believing that Republicans are racist. But when we study our history, we find out that it was the Republicans that actually passed the first Civil Rights Bill, and it was the Republicans that abolished slavery. And so now that we're starting to learn for ourselves and think for ourselves, you're going to see a lot more black people voting for Republicans.
We see that on the ground every day. We see that on our social media every day. We interact with people every day that are waking up, that see this movement happening.
You have Black conservatives not being scared to come out here and show who they are anymore. And you're going to have a revolution of young children out there in the future. They won't be so young anymore, and they're going to be speaking their mind, and they're going to be speaking the truth, and they're going to be proud of who they are. Conservatives, you can't shut them down. You can't shut them down on social media, and they will always be who they are.
Well, I was so proud of that kid, bro. Like, just to hear that young kid, like, speaking his real, and it's like, yo, he's standing 10 down on his square, bro. I respect that. Hit your mute.
I was trying to avoid the echo that we have now. Is that me?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Go ahead. It'll be here until I finish the video.
All good. Yeah, no, man, I just wanted to say I love if people pay attention to you in the back. The first time he's speaking, you're just holding him down. You look like Secret Service. You're like, looking
Right.
this way and looking at him and like, come at him. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah. And guess what? And in saying that, what Bryson's about to say out his mouth was the spirit in how I was feeling at that moment and how we all was feeling. I don't know. I'm near Bryson at this point, but I'm not in frame. But I'm right there, like, yeah. So I'm about to play this. This is it right here. Hold up. Where am I? Oh, right here. Let's get it.
We want all the smoke. You did that? Because people like that, right? You think you can bully people to stop doing something, right? Call us coons, all type of names, right? Usually people run into their little cubby holes after that. But I was like, it's a new movement now, and we want all the smoke. It's really clear. You feel me? Like Antifa, they keep bullying people because people allow themselves to get bullied. But see, the difference is we want all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? People tell me that where the MAGA hat, so I bought the biggest MAGA hat. Then I bought a bigger one. So next time somebody says something to me, common sense, a bigger one, simple math, really, when you put it all together. So I feel like we started a new movement, internet revolution, and we want all the smoke. That's my message, period.
We want all the damn smoke.
Yeah. Oh, man, I dig that, dude. I like very few people anymore. You know how it is, man. The deeper you dig into someone or the more of a fan you get of someone, the less you like them, the older. You're like, oh, man, you know what I mean? They're, and I get it. We're all grifting to some extent.
Right.
But Bryson is one of those dudes that the deeper I get in, the more I like. And what's cool is I can blatantly disagree. It doesn't mean I'm right necessarily.
Right.
But the fact that he just holds down what he holds down and the core is the same. He's amazing for that. And then what you guys were doing was amazing, man. I'm ready. And yeah, wow, it's a hard transition. I had a perfect little transition set up to Cat, but now I'm like, oh, you're wanting me to go into this whole thing that I can't yet. But and then if I was Dave Chappelle right now, I'd be sitting. He lives in Ohio, right? I'd be sitting somewhere in Ohio right now, thinking about Cat Williams and being like, really, bro? I'd give him a call, be like, really? You couldn't wait 2 weeks? Because I was the thing. I #1 special in the world. Every press was talking about me. I was on all the things. And then Cat drops 2 days later, and wow. You know what I mean? It's like if you had Sammy Sosa going up right after Mark McGuire. You know, it's
like, really? This is what we're going to do? This is what we're going to do? Yeah, this is what we do. And you know what? It's not Cat's fault.
Oh no, I'm happy.
Cat's fault.
I'm very happy.
No.
About it.
It's. I'm glad it happened, but see, it wasn't Cat who did it. It was a man from Georgia. It was a man from Georgia, right? A man who stumped right here in the same city which I broadcast from, Mr. Shannon Sharp. If it wasn't for Shannon Sharp saying, yeah, I want to put Cat Williams on as my first episode of the year, we wouldn't be here right now.
Look, I'm not I think I'm not a huge fan of his, but let me tell you why, just so you know, it's not like I made it up. I think he's an amazing, and even, I know you don't really watch him, but I had to watch Jason Whitlock, your favorite. I had to watch his breakdown. I know, Shitlock as you call him.
Yeah, definitely says my favorite Shitlock.
By the way, LS, we'll get to this in a second because this is interesting. Protocol just posted on Rashad Ritchie page. Black libs are about to lose their mind. But like, they just think about Protocol and they're like, grrr! Destroying the narrative. It's anyway. When he was with Skip, right? Well, then that's what I was going to say. Even Jason Whitlock, he was talking to Steve Kim, and I enjoyed those segments because they're mainly, Steve Kim is such a good classic boxing commentator and a great real sports dude, and he doesn't really talk the politics with Jason. That's kind of his agreement. I don't talk politics with you. I'll be the sports guy. But both of them had to agree, and Whitlock he said it more than once. He's like, I'm so impressed with Shannon Sharp. He's like, I did not, because, he's had 100 hit pieces on him. He was like, but he is doing a great job. He's putting together a great show. He's asking the right questions. He knows how to give the space. So, absolutely. Hats off to him. But when he was working with Skip, he put out on Twitter, it's open season on Skip. They were going through it. He was still doing a show with him, and he still put out its open season. It's like, so you, like, dog, like, you know what I mean? I understand, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's beef and drama and issues, but you could have had this man killed. You know, like, open season means open. You know what I mean? It's like,
so
I can see
open
you going.
season, it's like, so here's the thing, and it depends because it does have the death connotation on open season, right? Because especially if you're a hunter, if you're a person who deals with, like, you know what open season means, but then it also means like, hey, look, bro, it's open season, bro. Every time, skill. Every time we get on stage together, Skip, I'm gonna go. It's gonna be Club Shay Shay on you, Skip. I ain't got bump LeBron, Skip. I don't care about how about them Cowboys, Skip. Okay, so like, you know, like, yeah, I can see it's open season on Skip Bayless. I can see that because I mean they're honestly, like, really when you think about it, when it was Skip and Stephen A. Shits.
Yeah.
It was Skip versus Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? Then you have Shannon and Steve.
Drip Bayless. Drip does that on purpose, though. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like Drip has figured out going back to the heel. He's figured out how to be a white heel in a black game.
Right.
That is tricky. That is
Right.
extremely tricky, bro.
Right.
Producer for the Hotep Nation can tell you that. I know that guy. Anyway, you know, you have to be very sweet. You have to be a good chess player. You know what I mean?
I think you also need to watch those words and watch the words, and then also go out there because you do have those crazy people, right? We have to make sure that it is a statement of, yeah, it's open season, but I'm talking about me and him versus the show. I'm talking about I'm not sparing him on any commentary that I have on his sports analysis of any type, right? Like, I'm not, it's open season on that. Not, hey guys, if you see him, you do like Maxine Waters says do, you know, when you see a person in Trump's camp, you don't get in their face and make them uncomfortable. Like, that's not what we're doing, guys. So I think that there could have been a better communication for the dummies in the back of the classroom. But I understood what was, you know, I understood the message.
Now that explained to me like that, I get it better because, you know, it was just like, because I know they were beefing behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly everybody made it a big deal. But if you watch that last show of theirs, you could tell I was a fan. If you watch that last show of theirs, man, there was a lot of respect. Because if you know the truth, Drip did go out and get him. And he wasn't so hot when he got it. He was like, dude, I see you. And he's like, you know what I mean? I think the problem was, and it makes sense in a way, it's like Skip didn't want to let that go because his new show we're not talking about. And he's got 3 dudes on there, all high-level, stars. They're just not Shay Shay. They don't have that. That's why talent is different. You know what I mean? It's just a different thing. So all love there. But in the last episode, man, it was all respect and love on both sides. And Shannon came in there and he's like, bro, I want to let you know no matter what was going on, I came in here and gave you my best every day. And Drip looked at him and said, I know you did. And thank you for that. And it changed both their lives. They both have a lot more money now and they're good forever because of that show. So good on him. You know what I mean? So, and he does a great job. But getting to doing a great job, man, that Cat Williams interview was fire. Oh, my gosh.
Man, listen, I ain't never been in a room and asked to do any type of special things. I ain't never had to put on a Santa Claus outfit, you know what I'm saying, even though I was supposed to be the pimp, because that was my role. I was the pimp. And then they gave my pimpness to this little midget. Hey, man, that was an awesome interview, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I seen some people was like, oh, the interview was horrible. You know, Shannon could have done a better job. It's like, I don't look at Shannon Sharp to be Walter Cronkite, right? I don't look for Shannon Sharp to be.
I was just gonna say he's for lack of a better term, he's like he's like Joe Rogan, but for athletes, urban athletes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I heard it said like this, and I like it. He's bringing the barbershop conversation into the
Yes.
national spotlight.
Yes.
He's saying what people are afraid. He's allowing things to be said that people are afraid to say. So I do love that part of it. And yeah, he's a way better interviewer than people give him credit for. You know what I mean? All love to him for that. And I'm happy he's around now after this. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think about some of this stuff? Real fast before we move on, I saw John Lewis at Home Depot quoted to my wife what Auntie Mad Max said, and he promptly walked over to me and shook my hand. I'm not kidding. Is that inside? That's a little inside baseball right there.
So John Lewis, you know who John Lewis was, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So
So he saw the John. Okay, cool.
yeah, this is before he died. Not naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I mean, like, so these people, like, it's likely you can run into them in a store or somewhere, in their district. It's highly likely you can do that. Excuse me. So it's funny to see that, he quoted the whole Mad Max. When you see them in public, you get in their faces and you make it uneasy and blah, blah, blah. So for him to hear that and shake and walk over and shake his hand, that's funny. I want to know what the conversation was like after that. Hey, call in Friday. You call in Friday. We're going to talk about that, LS.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
And I'll be listening. I'll be right there. So.
Oh man, I know you haven't missed the show, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I be having to get my catch up on the PT pod, but I get caught up now. I get caught up like my name was Usher on that Confessions album. Yeah.
You're not missing much. It's fine. You've got better things to do with your time, I promise. But, thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. But so as far as Cat is concerned and what he said and how I love that. I love that almost arguably more than I loved Chappelle's Dreamers, right? Because, Dreamers was one of those things that was for the people who are just now starting to get comfortable with stepping out and getting into them and they're ready to work, right? They wanted, like, it's okay for you to go out on this limb and do this. Like, here's your pep talk. You can do this. Nigga, that motherfucking Cat Williams? Nigga, that was for the people who are already in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are already down in the dirt and they in the mud and they like, what the fuck is going on? This is what's going on. It's some dirty shit going on. Niggas is sucking dick to get popular. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is doing this and niggas like that. That is, you got the 101 classes, the 201 classes. That was like 301 and better. We're talking advanced where Cat was, and addressing a lot of things, that's going on, especially with people's favorites. And it's not just that way in the comedy game. It's that way in the music game. It's that way in the actor game. They talked about old Big Nose. This Big Nose ugly, they told us he was the sexiest man. And since when did y'all start liking this nigga is the sexiest man, huh? This nigga that thought he was ugly. Y'all told us these niggas was ugly. Now y'all just spend all this time telling us that he's the sexiest man on earth, nigga. Like, and then they took this nigga, like, they'll give you so much, nigga, and you'll think you'll be on top, nigga. And then as soon as you get the moving, you think you gonna speak up and tell us what you is and ain't gonna do, nigga? Okay. Snatch. Snatch. Like, that was things that people who are in the game, like, need to know. People who are trying to gain an understanding, they need to know. But what I loved about it all, because, like, I didn't disagree with anything. Well, yes, I did. I did disagree with his stance. And I mean, it's his stance and it is what it is. But, like, at this point in time, especially when you're a grown ass man, like, bitch, I don't want to hear no grown ass man say Trump orange man bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, when I hear you say that, then it's like, damn, bitch, you really ain't paying attention. You say a lot of good stuff, but right there, it shows that you just really not paying attention to what's going on. I'm not saying that he's the fucking holy grail, but what I'm saying is, Taraji P. Henson, you dumb bitch, you're crying about taxes being too much, and you getting rid of the person who doing his best to cut the taxes for your dumb ass. Like, what is that? So that was the only thing that I really disagreed with him about. But everything else was 100,000% on point. But what it showed me above all was the people, because I found out about it through my Facebook, and my Facebook is largely local, right? I'm seeing everybody on my Facebook page go crazy over this Cat Williams interview. I like Shannon, he's cool, but I don't subscribe to the Club Shay Shay. You know what I'm saying? I'd be seeing some stuff and I'm just like, okay, whatever, dude. But I seen this and people were talking about it, and it showed me with a lot of regular people, right? They were mad that Cat Williams was exposing Steve Harvey, exposing, they were just, everybody's words. Oh, he just a hater. Oh, he just hating. Wait a minute. He's hating? He's hating because he said that these niggas dissed him and stole his jokes. And you can prove, it's provable that they took this man's bits. Yeah. Now, you're in comedy. You know that these bigger comedians, first of all, a lot of these comedians don't write their own stuff. They have joke writers that come and shop material to them, right? There are times where these people go and steal the stuff themselves, or somebody that had been in the audience and saw a good joke will take the bit and take it and sell it to them, and they'll say that, hey, it's good. All right? So there is that.
And I will say a lot of times on the road, you just find people that are funny. If you're, I've written for a couple comedians as far as you have a writing session, like, hey, man, I'm going to throw you a couple $100. Meet me tomorrow for lunch. I'm trying to flesh out a couple of jokes or a couple ideas I have. And if you're struggling, if you're driving round trip 8 hours for $200 and you get to double your money by meeting the guy you're opening for at lunch to help him write a joke, you're in all the time. And that's why there's so little respect for successful joke thieves. It is such a taboo in the world. I mean, it destroyed Mencia's career. And there's a lot of comedians that you'll see pop up and go away. And it's because a lot of their stuff is taken from guys in their local clubs. And you just don't see that. Because you don't see those guys, but the people who book them know, the managers of the clubs know. And once it gets out, you're that kind of guy, you won't work. It's that simple because we don't want you. You know what I'm saying? No, thank you. This game is hard enough. But that was extremely interesting when he was talking about that and how bad Cedric's. The only thing that I kind of had a little bit of a contention with, besides, of course, the Trump stuff. Here's the thing about Cat, though, because as you know, and I posted, if you guys want to look, I have the receipts. It was 2013. I got to open for Cat on 2 shows, and I got to do an interview. I lived in Hawaii. Honolulu Star Advertiser is the local paper. And I got to do an interview with him, and then, which it was very hard to do. Like, he said, meet me at a place. I waited for 3 hours. Then he said, I can't meet you. Send me your questions. And I was like, I'll send you questions, but I have to talk to you because I'm not just going to take print answers. And he was like, okay. So then I got to talk to him on the phone, and then I met him at the show. Once again, cool guy. Was very cool. I noticed he was like Mike, and he noticed you. And he meant to do that. And he was like, Mike, thank you so much. And he's a great guy on that level. And even the story, I forgot the chick, but she's an ex of his, and she was on a show. And she was talking. This is before he blew up. This was like last week. And she was like, he took care of me. He was a good man. Like, he didn't marry me, but, even if he was out, he bought me a house. He bought me a car. He kept me good. So Cat is good on that level. And I agree with him that Kevin Hart is not that funny. But it happens a lot that you see mid-level comedians, but they're found by an agent. They're found by a manager. And it seems overnight. And it's like all of a sudden, who is this dude? He blew up. But they've been working behind the scenes, for a decade or so. And they just got the right connection. And they felt like they were ready. So, but yeah, Kevin Hart was basically set up. But sometimes that does happen legitimately. Also, Kevin Hart took it in the booty.
It's on tape that he at least got pretty close to taking it in the booty from Shaq. So,
Yeah, man, and I'll tell you what happens. If you want to know, man, I haven't really told this story, but as anybody who follows, and if you don't know, I had a little success in the night. I'm like Limp Bizkit. I was huge in the 90s, but I had a little success TV, comedy, that kind of thing. And I got invited to a couple of those parties, and I got to hang out in a couple of those places. And yeah, man, I wouldn't do what they were trying to get me to do. And so, I didn't get to go further. And basically what happens is you just, get quit getting invited to those parties. So to give you an example, what they do is you go to a party and you feel cool because you're around cool people and connected people. And they give you some alcohol, and they'll give you some ecstasy, do a little cocaine. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And you turn around and you're trash. One time I got roofied at a writer's party, and it's a TV show that has a state and police in it. And remember, I lived in Hawaii. So what's the call code for police in the state? So anyway, and I actually got to do stand-in work. They call it second unit. And what that means is the lighting and kind of sound unit, right? So before the actual actor comes in to do his, to read his lines and get Smoke City 2.0 in the building. Pew, 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 pew.
What's up, brother? What's up, man? Appreciate you for sliding in this thing.
We got to get to my man. Yes, doing new material in front of comedians is like stealing in front of the police. Bernie Mac. Yes, amen. Amen to that, LS. But basically what happens, man, is you get the stars in your eyes, especially if you've been grinding for a little while. The perfect guys that you see really make it most of the time in comedy and acting are in their early 30s because they've been in LA hungry, struggling, striving since they were in their 20s. And they get you to that 6 to 8 year point where you're like, if it was going to happen, it done happen. Do I want to do local dinner theater? You know what I mean? Because I love my craft. Or do I want to go be an accountant or whatever the hell? You know what I mean? Do I want to go figure something else out? And you get a little role, and they invite you to these parties. They get you drunk. They get you high. They give you pills. And then all of a sudden, you see some gay sex happening. And I'm dropping real here. Or you see a very young girl having sex with a powerful man. Like, they show you this. They open the door to the room. Now, you're so screwed up because you've been drinking and you're on ecstasy or whatever pills they gave you. You're high off your ass. So you don't run. You don't even know if you had the physical ability to run. Now, these parties I was at, were not in, how do I say this? It was a mixed group of people, right? And I know that I only have one experience, but it was definitely a mixed group of comedians, actors, writers, producers in these things. So they show you this stuff, and then they let you know it's cool. And they're like, hey, this is what we do. If you want to be in the in crowd, you're like this, right? And then it's like, oh, I'm messed up. I need to go lay down or sit down. And then somebody sits down next to you, tries to mess with you. And if you say no and you stand up, you get no longer invited to those parties. Your phone quits ringing. Thing is, that's as far as I ever got because I didn't. I was like... and back then I was liberal, and I had, no issue going to drug parties with people that I knew were doing all kinds of stuff. Because it was like, hey, we're cool and hip. I had no problem being there. I just didn't want to do any of that, But because I said no, my phone stopped ringing.
You wasn't Trump, man. You wasn't rich enough, Trump went to the parties and he sipped on Diet Coke and watched everybody do everything, So,
exactly, which is where I should have been. Hey, man, hindsight, right, is 2020. But
it is what it is.
And then man, I thankfully had a show, so I had a little poll. I had the Man versus Bar show, and then I was Comedy Hawaii was doing good. We working with Cat Williams, working with Dave Chappelle. Literally, I got receipts. Working with Doug Stanhope is huge, loved. So we got to we were doing good, but. Everything was, and I was up for parts and da-da-da-da, and my agent quit returning my calls, like literally after 2 parties where I wouldn't let a dude touch me in weird ways. Absolutely, man. Honestly, I got to thank God because regardless of how you believe, it says in the book that train a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. And even though I knew I was in sin or living in sin and in a sinful world, even doing sinful things, there were hard lines you were not going to cross with me because it wasn't as important as my soul, period. And as Alex Jones says, if I may do Alex Jones, I will go to hell before I let these demons take over and control my country and your children. And I will. I'll give it all up. I'll put my life on it. I don't have children, so I'm the most dangerous thing in the world. I'm a white man over 40 who thinks white men are fucked up. Okay, be careful. Oh, and I have no felony, so I'm armed comfortably. So, and I'm willing to go to war for this. So come at me. You know what I mean? But regardless, man, I'm sorry, I got on. But the point was, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't be down with that. And then I realized it stopped. And I thought, man, maybe I did a bad comedy show and an agent saw it, and I was just off, or if somebody started talking smack. And then I asked a friend of mine, who I will not say his name right now, who went on to do some movies in L.A. and stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, man, they heard you weren't down. They didn't like you. They didn't think you were right, And that was close to putting Fresh Mike in a dress. Absolutely. They was close to doing that, man. And I would have happily worn a dress back then. I did do a show called Comedies of Drag. This was once again a decade ago. So many things changed after Trump and COVID. But it was comedy. There used to be a comedy show with Tom Hanks called Bosom Buddies, and it was about two dudes who had to dress like women to live in their apartment. And this was in the 80s, right? It used to be a joke. There was that, she's on the team or whatever. So it was comedy. Now I won't do it. In fact, last year I got offered to do a comedy drag show, and I said no, I'm not doing it because it's not funny or a wacky funny thing anymore. It's come at me, bro. It's my man, LS. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? And Amy says, I'm glad too. Yes, I'm glad I got out of there too, man. And that's what they do. It's because I think here's the thing, Pro, is that they take your manhood. It's like the last thing you have left is your manhood. Smoke City 2.0 getting love from LS in the chat. But that's what they do. They take your manhood because that's the last thing you have left in this world is your manhood as a man. And they take that from you. You know what I mean? What does it profit to gain the world and lose your soul? And that's what they do, man. And I've seen some messed up stuff happen. You want to know why in these major entertainment hubs there's so many broken homeless people under the age of 25? How do you think they got there? You know what I mean? Why are they homeless, panhandling on the street, right? When they're, they came from a decent home, bright, starry-eyed people. It's because they're used up and thrown away, and they're left on the street with nothing, and they get you to give everything up, then sever your ties from the good people in your life too. So you don't go back to them. It's almost that democratic thinking of no matter how bad you are, the other side is worse. So I will not listen to them. I will not pay attention to them. No matter how much evidence is proven that this is wrong, what I'm thinking, it doesn't matter. They're bad. I'm good, period, the end. And, so anyway, long story short, I kind of got out of that. I found a producer, a guy with some connections who really liked me. What funny, he was, part of the mafia, literally Italian mafia. But he was a cool dude and he had some pull. And we were getting ready. I was writing and going to star in his show, very similar to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but it took place in Vegas and it was called The Best of Times. I got the scripts, I got everything. But anyway, I was really excited about that. And then and this was in 2015, and I came out for Trump. I didn't come out for Trump. No, that's not even true. I came out against Hillary Clinton because I was a Bernie bro. And I was like, Hillary is a murderer. Hillary is gross. I can't vote for her, so I'm not voting because I don't think Trump. Back then, I was like, I don't think Trump is the guy, but Hillary is not the girl, and I can't vote. And I can't stand behind Hillary. They're like, you won't get on board? I'm like, no, they're like, we really need you in Oklahoma. And I was like, no, I can't do this. And then it was just done. And then a couple months later, I tried to call my guy, and he was like, no, man. I mean, he kind of snapped at me. He's like, I'm so busy, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm so busy. You don't understand what we're doing here. And I was like, wow. And that was it. That was a wrap. And then I took about 3 years off, got sober. You know what I mean? Found the love of my life, got married, and then started listening to Hotep Jesus, and here we are.
Here we fucking are.
Long story short, man, I didn't mean to go into it, but I've never told that story, and I felt like I needed to, man, because what Cass talking about, I understand. So, and I'll be honest, man, there are some nights when you're sleeping on your bunk bed, and you don't have $7 to your name, and you remember 2 years ago, you were selling out shows, $25 a ticket, and they were coming to see you and your crew. And you wonder, did I do the right thing? Like, I mean, really, it's like, I could have taken one hit. I could be on that TV. There are people I came up with on that TV right now. But now I know I absolutely did do the right thing. So,
Absolutely.
you know, yeah, man. And Cat blew up just for telling the truth. Bigger than Chappelle with one of the best specials maybe ever in the history of comedy. That's how important and powerful the truth is, man.
Was it last night? It was 26 million views.
Yup.
26 million views.
It's a game changer. CNN would murder a town of small children to get 26 million views.
I'm sorry. I'm selling them short. We're at 31 million now. So from last night, when I messaged you, which was last night,
like 10:30, 11, yeah.
somewhere around there, to now, roughly damn near 20, just short of 24 hours later, he's amassed another 5 million views. This man is a walking money machine. He's like Trump. Trump's a walking money machine. You know what I'm saying? Like the news cycle, like even with him out of office, they still did what they had to do for him to be in the news cycle every single day. He's a walking stimulus check. Cat Williams is a walking stimulus check.
And what's funny is, true story, he was having issues. I mean, he had gone, because you go to stadiums or, you know, convention centers, convention halls, to theaters, to clubs, to independent shows. That's how it works, honestly.
Yeah.
You know that. You're a promoter.
Yep.
And he was club level. He was back. You can look last month. He's playing, I mean, they're the A rooms, but he's not playing stadiums. He's not playing big theaters or 500 seat theaters. He was playing your 100, 200 seat comedy clubs. Now watch. And I think he just got tired of it. I think he was like,
he's back in the arena. As a matter of fact, in April, I'm going to the show in Jacksonville. He's going to be about 2 hours away from here. I'm going to Jacksonville. I'm going to go see Cat. You know, like I have to.
Now let me ask this question. Before this interview, would you have gone?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, okay, fair. Okay, fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Because you know what I
it's
mean?
fun.
Like, there's a difference
Yeah.
between, well, I remember Cat. Now I got to go see him versus, Cat's coming.
No.
Yeah.
I seen that he was coming because I didn't even know. Now what this did do was let me know he was back on tour because I didn't know he was back on tour. Right. And then I heard this and it was like, yeah, he has the Dark Matter tour. Oh, really? Look it up. Oh shit, he's coming to Jacksonville. All right, cool. I'm going. Like Cat Williams, Eddie Griffin, Dave Chappelle. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to go see him.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Cat, Dave, Doug Stanhope, who I know and love so much. My guy who's, you know, in his mid-40s now. We worked together, you know, 5 years ago and 8 years ago. A guy named Adam Hunter. MMA Roasted is his Twitter, but he's been on Gutfeld. He's like now a consistent Gutfeld guy, which is really helping his career. And he's a huge, you know, we bonded because we're a huge, but he like works and helps those MMA dudes do comedy if they want to do it. And they all come to see him. He's like that dude in LA. So, and if he was on the East Coast, we'd have him at the Grifties. But I'm so happy for him, man, because you know what it is, dude. I mean, you're younger than me, and you're not to 40 yet. And I can't wait till you get to 40.
Don't rush me.
Because you're gonna have those crises. All right, these crises.
This is horrible.
And you'll be like, dog. I'll be like, now you know how it feels. I'm kidding. But you know, you get to that certain point, you're like, you know, maybe I'm aged out of the market. Maybe it passed me by. Maybe I had a good run. You know, I used to be in a rap group, right? I was the lead singer, guitarist for a rock group. I'm not doing that now. There's nothing sadder than a man over 40, a white man over 40 trying to be a hip hop star. That's pathetic, okay? If you didn't make your million already, Eminem, you're done. I feel bad for Eminem now. I'm like, oh, dude, like, just produce. Because if this was an Eminem produced record by somebody you handpicked, we'd all buy it and listen to it. But stop with your whole Trump is bad, I'm a hardcore rapper. Like, that shows you how much you don't hang around black people. Period.
Right. Because I've been like, it's like, bro, and we're talking about, you know, 40-year-old rappers trying to make it versus, you know, you got 2 Chainz, you know what I'm saying, who is out here like, you know, with Kanye during the height of, you know, Kanye messing with Trump type situation, you feel me? And 2 Chainz is like, oh, I'm on board. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going as far as saying, hell yeah, I'm fucking with Trump. Bitch, go vote for Trump. But it's like, you hear in his conversation, he's not dissing Trump. In the background, he's probably like, hell yeah, boy, the money moving right. I got the fucks with this here Trump shit. Like, yeah, you on Trump? Oh, okay, cool. I'm on Trump. Like, I'm there with it. You got Wayne, who is a 40-something-year-old still out here rapping, who is like...
But he made $1 million before. My rule is this.
He did.
You made $1 million before 40 as a rapper, you can continue to be a rapper after 40.
Okay.
But if you ain't made that $1 million, calm down, bro.
Calm down and sit it down, right? So, but he's out here saying, yo, go Trump, and we're talking about these black people. So, like,
Didn't Trump pardon him?
Yeah.
Lil Wayne? Yeah.
Yeah. And he pardoned Kodak Black, who just can't seem to stay his dumb ass out of trouble. And now he's back in jail or was arrested recently or some shit. Anyway. But if these black men can come out and say this, dude, sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
We don't need you to come white-splain for us, okay? We don't need you to be the super liberal Captain Save-A-Ho, Captain Save-A-Negro. Like, we don't need that from you, Eminem or Kathy Griffin or any of you people, Joy Behar. We don't need none of you being this. Like, Coogee Chakalia. We have our own self-determination. We can define ourselves. Again, I tell people straight up, boy, listen, I live Kwanzaa every day. And Coogee Chakalia is my favorite word. That is my favorite principle. I can define myself. I don't need you speaking for me. Let me speak for me. Yeah. And the only speak for you from me is to speak that I spoke, and you're just relaying the message that I've already put out in public square. That's it.
Exactly. Well, and that's something that it makes sense. It's your favorite, and something so powerful about you and what you bring, man, is that you speak for yourself. So you're like, so many people don't, man. I mean, it's like, I think clearly it started with you for me personally, and Bryson is a continuation of it. But I'm convicted, man, because I mean, it's that watered down Christianity, for lack of a better way to say it. But it's one of those, well, we don't want to be not loving, and Jesus was a socialist, which you actually hear a lot on the left. And so, so what if they're gay? So what if they're trans? Jesus said love everybody. And then it goes so far, you're sitting there and you're like, you know what I mean? You start here and you move a little bit, and then you move a little bit, and then you move, and all of a sudden you're all the way over here. You're like, I didn't want any of this. I was just trying to be cool. You know what I mean? And now we don't have power in Congress, and now what I want represented is not represented in my country or in any means of entertainment or print media or whatever. No, thank you. You know what I mean? Okay, so now I have to put the line down, and the line is down. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean I hate people that aren't living the quote unquote right life. I just mean, like, there was a lady on my Twitter or on my Facebook, and I posted Dave Chappelle's new special about to make y'all big mad, and we couldn't be more stoked, right? And this lady, like, went into it, and she's like, I have 2 transgender children. And I was like, oh, my God. What you're saying is I'm a terrible mother. I'm a mentally ill, terrible mother.
I'm a mentally ill, terrible mother. That's what it says.
Because not only, first of all, even by the leftist scientists, the anomaly, the 1 in 6 billion or whatever, 2 billion, that you would have 2, you know what I mean? Which would mean, like, you would be outpacing the population of the planet and the rate to have 2 transgender children right now. It's like, it's almost an anomaly. It's one of those things, it's like going the speed of light. It can happen, but we sure ain't there yet. You know what I mean? So first of all, that's an anomaly. Secondly, you're damaging and destroying your children, period. Like, imagine what these kids are going to do when they grow up. So it's another thing. And I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't go in like that. I was like, you're on your side. And I was like, I literally posted, I was going to go into a long explanation, but seeing as how you're anti-bullying, I'll see you at the next Trump rally. I was like, let's free those political prisoners. If you hate bullying, I'll see you there to support us. She was like, no, thanks. I was like, exactly. I just got you. I just got you. You don't care if people are bullied. You care if your people are bullied.
That's
you know, and that's my issue. So, yeah, man.
That is
What did
it.
Kat
And
say that wasn't already known? We got to get to LS. What did Kat say that wasn't already known? What Kat did to sexy Wanda Smith, not on V103, the morning show, will forever be the best roast. I remember that. Yes, Kat brought it.
He gave her the business, and he talked about that in the special. We wasn't supposed to talk about none of this stuff, and she said that she wasn't, and she was there to talk about whatever. And I put Atlanta on, and then she just immediately went to that. So she got to get the business.
Yeah, man, and our culture has changed. He's talking about the Chappelle's new special. You should watch his old ones. Absolutely. Me and my wife were watching a silly old 80s movie. Like, you know what it is. You always got your things with your girl that you like to do. That's just y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our favorite things to do is just find old cheesy movies and watch them, right? Like, just old stupid stuff. We were watching a movie called, I think it was called, Toxic Trash from the 80s. And it was this silly movie about, it was Mad Max, but very low budge Mad Max, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people lived in a trash dump, and there was a king, and it was stupid. But the kids that were living there, the heroes or whatever, they had full on, I forgot in the 80s we did this, they had full on naked women on their wall or bare breasts, right? And it was just chicks with titties on the wall, and it was no big deal back then. And you can watch a lot of 80s movies. You know what I mean? She deserves a gold medal for, yes, she does. Anybody says, I have 2 transgender children, you need to look up science. You know what I mean? So that was wonderfully awful. Yes, it was, dear. But it was just the idea that we've changed as a culture. And it's so cool to be a transgender and talk about gay sex and be so into that. And you are actually, something is wrong with you if you don't support that. But being attracted to a woman is weird. Wanting to be a man was weird. The 80s were great, LS. So I was going to ask you, because you were around at least in the 90s.
Right.
But, you can watch movies and stuff. Why do you think that is? What do you think that is signaling to the culture?
I think men were still allowed to be men. Although they were phasing it out, they were dumbing men down into that point, right? They were lazying them out. They still were allowed to be men, right? They don't want masculinity, right? They're scared because once you have masculinity, then you have force and you're going to put your foot down, right? We went from Archie Bunker men who put their foot down and ran their homes, right? To George Jetson, who really didn't run his house, His wife, hell, the robot maid ran the house more than George Jetson did, right? It was the whole George Jetson taking out some money to give his wife to go shopping, and she takes the whole wallet. And we're just okay with that, That was the future. If we remember now, this was the future. They were planning this for us in the future. You don't run your house, your wife does. Your kids do, whatever the case may be. You don't be a man. You let your boss walk all over you. It was the training that they needed to be able to pull this complete mental retardation that is consuming the people, to where we have this gold medal recipient of parenting on the awful scale, right? To where you have broken the barrier of expectations and probabilities with not only 1, but 2 mentally led wrong situations. It's like, you have those parents who I talked about earlier in the space, where you have people. You may have a person who has been fed dog shit all their life and told that dog shit was a T-bone steak. Never seen a T-bone steak before and has only been educated from the person that they know, they love, and they trust that this plate of dog shit is a T-bone steak. And when they happen to separate from that person that they love, whether it's death or whatever the case may be, and they go out to a restaurant, or maybe they just grow up and they leave and they go out on their own. They go to a restaurant and they're reading the menu and it says T-bone steak. They order a T-bone steak, and the most beautiful piece of marbleized meat comes out. This person is going to tell you, this ain't a T-bone steak. What is this? This isn't a T-bone steak. And you're going to be like, no, yes, it is. This is definitely a T-bone steak. No, this is not what a T-bone steak looks like. It doesn't even smell like a T-bone steak. Because I know the smell of a T-bone steak, and this is the smell of a T-bone steak. But someone who was in control of their life poured into them this mental retardation. All right? This false narrative here. And it's made them into this, I don't even know what to call them. And it's not at no fault of them. It's at the fault of the person who, quote unquote, loves them or cares about them or ultimately has been the authoritative person in their life. The authoritarians need low educated, low propensity people to be able to remain in control and power. They don't need people who are going to stand up and be masculine, to be men, to thwart their authoritative power. They don't need people to thwart their wrong teachings of people. And this has been a plan that they have been on for a very, very long time. I'd argue that's why they took out the black family structure first. Because the black family is they ain't, at the end of the day, they ain't gonna fall for the bullshit. No, I ain't gonna fall for the bullshit. But if we can get them to buy the bullshit, then everybody else will fall right in play. Up until now, with it's so ridiculous that these people, this is how dumb they are and so thirsty for power. They've destroyed the blacks. They've destroyed the whites. Now they're bringing in the Mexicans, thinking that's going to be their, or the Latinos, thinking this is going to be their power structure.
Oh my God, you're right.
And these are I've never seen a Mexican transgender. I haven't seen it.
I have seen a Puerto Rican one. I don't.
That's American territory. Okay, that's
right. You're right.
That's Americanized. I'm Mexico. They ain't going. I would argue Mexico was just as bad as some Arab nations when it came to that foolishness. Absolutely. I don't see the cartels getting down with that foolishness. And ultimately, the cartels run Mexico.
Yeah.
The men run the house. The men are working. I'm in construction, demolition to be exact. My whole site is full of Latinos. Oh man, it's the greatest thing. Me and my worker was talking the other day. And we be leaving, going to the store to get something for lunch or whatever, get some bag of chips or something. But the Mexicans, them Latinos, bruh, everybody is at the trunk of somebody's car, bro. They have the gas burners to cook, right? They're going over and they got the whole electric skillet, right? They're cooking and warming up food on the job site. I'm like, yo, this is where they're going to kick Americans' asses right here.
When the power grid goes down, who you think's going to survive? The guy who's banging on McDonald's door going, I need a cheeseburger, or the dude who can pop his trunk and feed his whole team?
Come on, man. It's that guy.
Wow. So what's funny is I love street taco.
Yeah.
Those basic little corn tortilla, meat, cilantro, onions. Simple, delicious. I'm in all day. I
Yep.
love those.
I think that is it's ultimately going to be the black man and the Mexican man and what's left of the based white man that will save us. Because the based white man is they they the flavor of the week today, boy. They the ones on target, boy. They's coming for them.
Yeah, and in fact, side note, but Bryson said something very interesting today because I mentioned the white Christian conservative. And there was a lady named Love, shout out to her. I'm following her now. She was like, that's powerful. I'm going to use that. She's like, I've not heard that. As you know, she was not white. One thing I wanted to address there is I actually was talking to one of my folk today, and I had to explain to them that black people have been the testing ground. And they made a funny face. I was like, Tuskegee experiments, just start there. And the person I was talking to was like, she was like, you're right. And she had a funky look on her face. She's like, oh, I just feel bad now. I'm like, you don't have to feel bad. Just be aware.
Be aware.
You know what I mean? Like when black people complain about white folk, it's not you they're complaining about. If they thought you were part of the problem, they wouldn't be communicating with you about that problem. So don't get defensive. Don't be like, oh, I'm not one of those. Because the first thing I think then is you're probably one of those.
You're probably one. If you're running defense of them, you're probably one of them.
You gotta, and maybe not even intentionally, but don't be defensive. Listen, learn. I'm never gonna agree with everybody on everything, but there's some understanding that I could have that I just don't. We'll go back to, any other experience. I don't know what it's like to, be in a wheelchair. I don't know what that's like. I'm not trying to say different races are that. It's a terrible a simile. I'm sorry. But what I mean is there are experiences, and now they fully unleashed on the white man what they've done, in my opinion, to the black man for 40 years, and that is that demoralization campaign. We tried to watch two different shows in the past month or two. Like I said, we like to watch funny. And every single one of these shows, the man is weak. The woman is tough. The husband and wife are always dreaming about sex with other people. And their marriage is the crappiest thing. And on this show, the single people are attractive and cool. The cheating people are attractive and cool. And the dumb ones are the married folk trying to have a good marriage. And the man is always weak. Always. And it's just like what you were saying, man. And I was like, they tried this on the black community first. Understand that. They demoralized black men, and they said that they were either criminals or victims and not strong men of their homes. And they turned everything around, and it worked. It clearly worked. And now they're doing it to the white man. And we're all mad, like, oh. But I said that white Christian conservative thing today, and Bryson said something very interesting because, he's not really a race dude at all. I know Bryson to be somebody who is like, I love everyone, and either you're wrong or you're right, regardless of your race, color, or creed. And he even said, he's like, the one thing I'm being surprised about and that I'm finding, he said this today, I think he said for the first time, he's like, I'm really noticing a lot of these folks, their race is extremely important to them. And honestly, I was thinking about, what's his name, Nick Groyper people. Yeah. Because I know he rolled deep with them. And in fact, I've heard him on shows defending Nick Fuentes and be like, no, that's my boy. And I was like, no. And in fact, it was on a show. It was on Whitlock, pardon me again. But it was Royce White, him, and Whitlock talking, and him and Royce kind of went at it on this. And he's like, no, it's different. And Royce was like, he's a demon. I mean, Royce went at him through Bryson, and Bryson held him down. But I think maybe Bryson is coming around to a bit of a different viewpoint because he's like, I mean, that's very strong for Bryson to say, if you understand him to go, man, the one thing I'm surprised about, and I was like, you got to understand, that is a hijacked culture too now. The white conservative Christian culture is as hijacked as the black Christian culture. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hijacked now. It's being used for a political purpose. And the one thing I have to do is to convince you that what I'm telling you is right, and you can't talk to your neighbor. You cannot talk to those people. We're right. Hey, look, white. You know what I mean? They don't like you over there. Turn on MSNBC. Look how bad they're talking about you. And so now they're buying into it too. And we were talking about that in the basis of country music, but I really believe that's what's happening there, man, on that level.
And henceforth, J6.
Yeah. Man, we're about to get into that. Let me hit these chats and then we're going to jump on that. Amy K. Hall says, my opinion is that the feminist movement of the 70s was very needed. Careful, lady. And a lot of people in this room do not believe that. But it needed to stop in the 80s. I'm sure they can bend on that one. It's gone way too far. Women are not disenfranchised anymore. I do not disagree with that part at all. I actually don't disagree with any of that, but raised by a single mother, so it's a little bit different from my point of view. We've normalized outrageous misandry, and I'm ashamed of it. And that's a damn good woman right there. Are you single, girl? Hey, Amy Hall, hit up my DMs. I might show up at your house tonight. And then Mexican men will not be feminized. Viva la raza. And she says, God bless them. Yes. And LS drops some knowledge. Dr. Richard Rachel Levine will ensure our safety by LS with the heat. I'm supposed to be the comedian, and you're funnier than me, LS. This is not fair. You need to get with me and help me write this before the show so I can seem funny. LS is fire, bro. I love it. LS. I love that. Let me finish it and read it. Dr. Richard Rachel Levine will ensure our safety by putting Bruce Jenner in a battle skirt. Yes. Laughing so hard I couldn't finish. Yes, feminism has destroyed many movie franchises. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, etc., Lord of the Ring, you name it, ruined them all. Ruined them all, I agree. So that's that, man. And that's something that frustrated me about Kat, and something that I legit feel like he's just surrounded by so many anti-Trump people. That if he was ever, if somebody like you could spend an hour with him at lunch, you know what I mean? If somebody like you, Amy, love that one too. If somebody like you could spend an hour, problem is when he was, 6 months ago, it'd be easy to get him, for a Bryson at least, maybe not us, but a Bryson, we could get there. And now it's going to be hard. Now he's about to be on Joe Rogan, so it's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, I think, and I hope somebody gets to him. Or maybe when he goes to Texas, I'll go see him. But I think if somebody could sit him down for 20 minutes, even 10 minutes, because he's not a dumb man by any stretch, and let him know, here's the problem with what you're thinking. You've been told things that aren't true. And you need to understand that these things aren't true and that there are blatant lies being told, like January 6th and what they're doing there and how messed up that is. Did you I know you were watching some of the Alex Jones, Krasenstein's, Destiny. There was a point where Alex Jones called him Ding Dong. He was like, listen, Ding Dong. He's like, what, is that his name? Destiny, anyway. And he did that on purpose. I love Alex. And he kept putting his hand on his shoulder. He literally put his hand on Destiny's shoulder and said, boy, if the revolution ever really does happen, don't worry. You'll be the first to go.
You'll be the first to go.
And then he said again, you're not going to make it.
Yep. And for that, look, I'm with you, Alex, and here's how I feel.
Carly, don't answer that question.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Straight up. Destiny, the Krasensteins, all of them. That is how I feel about them. I tried. I couldn't. First of all, Ian, good. No, I'm not gonna say that. I really don't like Ian a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
really?
Yeah, I really don't like. I like Seamus, and who's my guy? What's my dude's Luke
Radowski, yeah.
Yes, those are my guys when it comes to like the Tim Pool spear of life, and I like Liz. Shouts out to Liz. She used to push the boards and stuff. She's not there anymore, but those were my people when it came to the Tim Pool spear. Not like because.
We're working on Luke, by the way. We really, really are trying to get Luke. I think you love Phil Labonte from All That Remains. It's on there. You love him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so like I was.
you're about to have pictures with them. You're about to meet
Yeah,
dinner
and
with them, so.
and I was going to say, like, because like they speak from a very educated side when it comes to the issues, right? So like, yeah, I think Tim, not like they were what election was stolen. Listen, guys, there were things there, you know, and then you got to, well, sure, but I'm not going to sit here and like say it because I don't have any physical proof that it was actually stolen. So, you know, and it's like, no, it's there. You just don't want to say it because you have someone who's funneling money into your pockets. So you're not going to say it. And when someone else say it, no, we're not going to actually go through and say all the way right there because we don't actually have the physical evidence that was like, no, dude. And for those types of things, really grinds my gears. I can't stand with it, you know. But Ian, like a lot of things I hear Ian say, it's like he gives me like a anarcho libertarianist vibe, right?
Right.
And I'm cool with libertarians, but like libertarians remind me of the flower child hippies. Right? I'm okay with freedom, but I think too much unchecked freedom can cause issues. Okay? What I mean by that, if you're telling someone, you know, it's just a land of freedom, whatever the case may be, and I have a store where I actually participate in the barter and trade system, and you walk in and just feel as though you can just take food off my shelf because, hey, we're freedom and we don't believe in capitalism or whatever the case may be. No. You don't believe in capitalism. I believe in a barter and trade system. Simple. And to tell me that, you know, that's wrong, yeah, I have issues with that. So, but, you know, on that, you know, when it comes to that debate from last night, like, you know, Ian's a very, he's not assertive, if you would. He did have an assertive moment that I seen where he stood up and was like, okay, you shut up. We're done with this fucking question. We're moving on. I was like, oh, he got some nuts about himself. You know, you're only fucking 3 hours late. You should have done this 10 minutes into the goddamn debate. You know, you should have been set the ground rules on this and say, bitch, I'm the master man with the big swinging dick on this stage right now. When I step up and say, hey, that's enough, then that's enough. Or I'm shutting your mics. I'm shutting all your mics off.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he said he didn't have a mute button, and he's like, I'd prefer to use the mute button, but I don't have it.
No. You watched it like I watched it. And you know good and well. Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I cut it off, baby. I cut it off.
You know, it sent her to the bedroom. She was like, I'm going to watch Moana. She put Moana on.
Listen, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I cut it off. It was blowing me. But they did have the mute button. If you go back and if you listen to it, you can tell when they cut off Alex Jones' mic because his voice was coming in on someone else's mic. It wasn't as loud as clear as it was when his mic was on. Like that, I have a keen ear for this sound shit. I caught that instantly. It's just that, you know, they tried, but his voice is so damn loud. He's so boisterous in it that it was picking up from the other microphone. So it was like, no, dude, you should have been stood up and said, shut the fuck up. This is how this is going to go. When they're talking, you don't say shit. When he's talking, you don't say shit. And this is how this is going to go. I believe you.
Yeah, Ian, I think we talking about it last night, and I was like, I wish, because HJ loves to be a moderator. He loves moderating, and I'm like, man, he would have been so much better for this. And that's the problem. Ian is just too milquetoast when it comes to that. He's too passive. Like, you need somebody like me or you that's going to put their chest out and go, shut up, enough.
Yeah.
You know, interrupt him one more time, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry. But nothing is getting accomplished. My favorite guy, and it's funny because they had to let him in and out, was Glenn. I mean, besides Alex is my internet dad. But, you know what I mean? I have a dream to be like Alex one day. So, but Glenn said something so amazing at the end before they just basically cut him off. And he was like, what I'm seeing is three people who are ill-prepared to have this debate. So then they start going after Alex Jones. It's like you're going after him personally. And that's what they did. And that's what they do. I'm in the gym today, right? And you got like 5 TV screens. I'm doing my warm up on my tread. And there's like 5 TV screens. And one is basketball, one is football. Happened to be weirdly in Oklahoma. 2 were on MSNBC and 1 was on Fox. Okay, so here I almost pulled out my phone, but I was, trying to get it. So the 2 headlines on MSNBC. One was how the evil right wing, they had the short hair black lady on there talking about Claudine Gay. It's like you have one short haired black liberal talking about it. She's not going to say nothing mean. She's not going to even say anything honest. She's going to go, like full on defending her. Then they had a man from Princeton on there talking about, of course, how bad the right wing is because she had to resign or was supposedly forced to resign. I don't know. That's all silliness. That's all big distractions. And then on the other MSNBC TV that was like a minute behind, so you know what I mean? You're not paying much attention. It was straight up breaking news. Trump says vulgar language was just locker room talk. So you had them talking to Giuliani, oddly, and it was like, yeah, it was just, and I guess Trump said, yeah, I said locker room talk. Now, these are the same people that the dirtiest, you know what I'm saying? What's our girl name? She pregnant.
Sexy Red.
Yeah, Sexy Red. They promote Sexy Red stuff, but Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You guys, if a rapper comes in here talking about literally pimping vulnerable women, selling drugs to his community, and literally murdering other people, you'll put him on a pedestal like he is a god.
Trump says Obama put out his list of music for the end of 2023, and 21 Savage is on that list. Go ahead.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. But Trump says a bad word and, we're so clutch the pearls. I need pearls because there's nothing to clutch. Stop it. Stop it. And then, of course, Fox News these were the 2 headlines in Fox News, though. One, major winter storm shutting down East Coast flights, how it could affect all flights across the country. That's legitimate news. If there's a huge storm coming and I'm trying to fly or travel somewhere, that would be something I'd want to know. That's good information. And then the question, the Sunday afternoon question of, will the feds continue to keep rates high or will they lower them? Right? And, they go into that. So one is talking about Trump's locker room talk and why the Republicans are so bad because Claudine Gay had to resign. Neither one of these things are important, valuable, valid, or news. And this is breaking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, pay attention to Trump said dirty words. And then on Fox, the most demonized news source on the planet, they're just talking basic news. They're just giving you information. And you see, that's the problem. Leading it back to Cat Williams, if you sit a smart man like that down and you just show him both screens at the same time, he's like, well, one of those is playing to my one of those is doing what they say they're going to do. The other one is depending on me being stupid to find this is entertaining. And I believe he would believe that and he would see the play, man. I really believe that. But, yeah,
it's just a matter of getting them exposed to it, man. It's all about the exposure. You know what I'm saying? It's about exposing them to the truth. And getting into a position of exposing it. And that's what's been happening, thank God, in Joe Biden's stolen situation. Oh, man. Speaking of stolen situation, I'll bring that up, before we end. Because it's the showing the mirror of the two and how those people act. And matter of fact, no, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now because, this is the conversation that we're in. You have to show people the 2 screens. You have to let them know how these people really think you are fucking stupid. They play on your stupidity. No, I need to click on this. All right, there we go. Where's my screen share? Do 45, 47. All right. So, Hakeem Jeffries makes a post today and says election denial is a sickness that is poisoning our democracy. All right? Let me zoom in on this so that people can see better.
I agree on both sides, believe it or not. Man. That man is fire, in my opinion. Legit.
Election denial is a sickness that is poisoning our democracy. This is what Hakeem Jeffrey says, the next Obama. All right? But then we go back and we look at this same guy from February of 2016.
Damn it.
The more
again. That's my problem, man. I look for good people on the other side, man, because I can't believe they're all completely, what is it, Sodom and Gomorrah. If you can find one good man, I will spare the whole thing.
Spare the whole thing. And then here you go, right? The more we learn about the 2016 election, the more illegitimate it becomes. America deserves to know whether we have a fake president in the Oval Office. Russian interference. Now, hashtag Russian interference. Now, we have a little illegitimate president. This is what he says. And he says that that was 2016. So this was 8 years ago, just about 8 years ago. He says he makes these words, right?
It's convenient. It's February. So what happened? What happened the month before? Like the new president took office, maybe, or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and he was in there saying that he does not agree with the electoral count from a particular state, and it asks, "Do you have a senator?" No, I don't have a senator. Well, sit your ass down. All right, rejection denied. As opposed to January 6, 2021. Do you have a senator? Yes, we have a senator. And saying, all right, we're going in the debate. People, I want y'all to understand, we had 8 states, 8 senators that was willing to step up and say they did not agree with the account, which was going to send us into 8 different 2-hour debates. Just want to put that out there. So I approached him and said, look, I'd say you are correct. And you are the super spreader of the sickness that has gotten us to this point in 2024. Pushing and spreading the poison in our governing body. It's time for you to go. Surprisingly, I haven't gotten blocked yet.
Well, I don't think is he still in office?
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffrey's still in office.
He can't block you legally, remember?
Yeah, you're right.
You get to take him to court if he blocks you. So
that would be nice, though.
Being his poison. Yep. He said BJ and the Shy said the same, and he is right. Yeah, he can't block you, fortunately. It's like, we can go to court and get paid off of it. Get some pub and some pay off of that.
I'm pushing for it. I'm pushing for it. I'm gonna keep on dropping this heat on them and see if they, block me or, mute me or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna be on his neck. But this is the problem. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem that we have where they have to see the 2 screens because, somebody will hear it today. Oh, look at Hakeem Jeffries. I'm calling him Hakeem Jeffries because he's an old cream-colored Negro. Hakeem Jeffries, who's up here talking about election deniers and this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad you said that about Hakeem Jeffries because look at him in 2016 where he said he believed that the election was stolen and we may have a fake president. He said exactly what we were saying. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them.
That's weird. So, I actually think it's very offensive and wrong to question elections. I don't think you should do it ever. You know what I mean? And if you agree or disagree, I want to ask you for 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Now, remember, you're not allowed to in fact, if you at any Smoke City 2.0 says salute, yes, sir. Oh, to LS. I love it when they talk. Anyway, so yeah, I just want to ask for 2 minutes of your time so we can do this right here. I don't know if you remember or heard of this, but it is actually currently available on Netflix for you to watch. And let's just let it run.
Seen an advertisement that has convinced you that your microphone is listening to your conversations.
all of your interactions, your credit card swipes, web searches, locations, likes. They're all collected in real time into a $1 trillion a year industry.
The real game changer was Cambridge Analytica. They'd worked for the Trump campaign and for the Brexit campaign. They started information warfare.
Cambridge Analytica claimed to have 5,000 data points on every American voter.
They always accuse you of what they're doing!
I started tracking down all these Cambridge Analytica ex-employees.
Someone else that you should be calling to the committee is Brittany Kaiser.
Brittany Kaiser, once a key player inside Cambridge Analytica, casting herself as a whistleblower.
The reason why
Casting
Google
herself.
and Facebook are the most powerful companies in the world is because last year data surpassed oil in value. Data is the most valuable asset on Earth. We targeted those whose minds we thought we could change until they saw the world the way we wanted them to. I do know that their targeting tool was considered a weapon.
There is a possibility that the American public have been experimented on.
This is becoming a criminal matter. When people see the extent of the surveillance, I think they're going to be shocked.
And I still fear for your life with the powerful people that are involved. But I can't keep quiet just because it'll make powerful people mad.
Data rights should be
All
considered just
produced and
fundamental
directed.
rights.
This is about the integrity of our democracy.
What
These platforms which
democracy?
were created
We're
to
in a
connect us
constitutional republic.
have now been weaponized. It's impossible to know what is what.
Except for to know that you're
because
a liar.
Nothing is what it seems.
Okay, that came out in 2016. Right there. That came out in 2016. Sorry, I had to pull it off because it was tweaking your
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, you feel like I
But I'm
felt last
saying-
night watching that shit.
Yeah, it was. At least then it's just because I love Alex and I love to watch my fighter in the cage. But good night. That whole thing is based on the fact that Trump, in collusion with other countries and powerful people, stole the 2016 election.
But he couldn't steal it when he was in the office.
Yeah, man, I don't. Through Russian collusion, which he then went on to be impeached for, which then found out was all lies. That dude. The truth is, I've got documents. I've got documents. Oh, you mean the Steele documents that Hillary Clinton paid to have produced? Like, I'm a writer, and you come to me and go, Mike, write me something about my company, about my project, whatever, my new record. That's what was done. And then it's like, oh, look, we've got this doc. Yeah, you paid for it. Oh, my God. Goodness. What's up? I hope ASK isn't serious about RFK Jr. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
Hey, man, I got in a conversation with somebody about that, and I'll just be brief with that because we still got to get in on this epic rant.
Yes.
I got it already pulled up already. Have you heard the song? Did you hear the song version of it?
Yeah, man. In fact, Cassius Cam is a friend. I didn't realize. So Cassius Cam, shout out. He's in California, and he runs an MMA boxing gym. Well, you know, that's my boys, our MMA boxers. And in fact, because he had just posted a picture, and, you know, we were in the same Twitterverse because he's a Hotep homie. And I liked him, and I sent a picture of my boy Kelvin fighting in a ring, you know, local ring too. And I was like, bro, we in Oklahoma, where you're at. We're always looking for talent. And he was like, dude. And he was like, I don't fight anymore. I'm like, neither do I. Over 40. The only time I want to get in a ring is to hold pads or to be hitting pads. I don't want to fight another man. I'm old.
Right.
But one of his fighters is coming through Mississippi. And he's like, man, we'll stop in OKC. I'm like, yeah, man, we got your dinner. Come on through. So, man, Hotep Nation strong. God bless.
It's freaking strong as fuck, man.
But yeah, man, the J6 stuff, it was a lie and a scam. And what I want to get into real fast, I posted a simple thing on my Instagram, right? And it was the BLM versus J6 and what was damaged and the problems that had happened there. So, you know, and the difference in the damage. And a couple, I won't call him by name. One dude I very much respect, former UFC fighter, Bellator champ, local, lives in Oklahoma now, and I love him, but he, you know, just put the down sign. And another old friend of mine, I mean, like, I'm talking old friend of mine, we grew up together, who now I think I legit think he's like a pimp. Like, we don't talk anymore, but we have socials. But all he's doing is posting these chicks. He's like, if you want company, hit me up. And, so I think he is,
Yeah, he's definitely pimping.
Yeah, he used to be an R&B. He was a very R. Kelly-style R&B singer back before that was a bad thing to be.
Oh, he's pimping.
Back before it was a bad thing to be, man. Hey, look, remix to Ignition. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but he just put This Ain't It, Bro. And it was just, billions of dollars in damage, months, one day. In fact, let me see if I can find it real fast. But so, because I know we're about to get to the rant, but that was my frustration, is that these are smart guys. You know what I mean? And they've been straight up lied to, or they've just believed the narrative that, it's actually somehow better for them, and we'll get into the rest of it later. But to kind of kick it off, and I hope they watch, and if they don't, I'm still going to pull it up, you know what I mean, and show it to them. Yeah, because I got heat on my Instagram, and I got no responses on my my Facebook when I did this. So let me pull this out. I'd be posting too much. Let's see here. Here it is right here. Okay, and let me show you. So this is what I put, and I would love to get your thoughts on this. Like, as far as, do you agree or disagree? And why? Share screen. Boom. Share. Boom.
Your outrageous manufactured BLM riots versus Gen 6. Oh, is that Old America?
Yep.
Old America. All right,
Old America.
So 500 plus BLM riots, left wing, January 6th, right wing. Lasted 7 months, lasted a couple of hours. This is true. 20 plus murders with 0 murders. This is true. No small business destroyed. Hundreds of small businesses destroyed. 150 plus federal buildings damaged. 1 federal building damage. 1 to 2 billion in damage versus $1.5 million in damage. 2,037 officers assaulted versus 140 officers assaulted. Protesters were bailed out, and now we have protesters that are kept in solitary confinement. Free the boys. Free my dog Dom. They down in the gulag. Get them out of there. Get them out of there. Encouraged by media and politicians. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Versus encouraged by fringe political groups and agitators. One was downplayed by the media, and one was exaggerated by the media. We have it all equaled. National encouragement on one side versus national outrage on the other side. This is the blue versus the red.
So going through that, do you 100%? Is there something you kind of disagree with there, or what are your thoughts?
Now, I don't disagree with anything there. To include the 0 murders, because you know how I feel about Ashley Rabbit. I sent you the video, the nice 22-minute video.
Yeah, man. That's something about, speaking of the Epstein thing as well, man. I just disagree in that it's so much easier to kill him. It's just so much easier. Even if you say, I'm going to take you someplace, play this role, and then you take him out. First of all, I know we got to get to the. Let's get to that, then we'll get to Epstein. Sorry. Boy,
right.
We're going long. We got to catch up, man.
Yes,
These silly party streams, we miss out on too much, man.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, let me see. All right, guys, here we go. This is the epic rant. This is set to music. Hold on. You know what? I like the music one because it's dope, but I'm just gonna give you guys the rant because the rant was powerful, man. The rant was freaking powerful. Let's see here. History. Where is it? No, where's all this music come from? Where's the epic rant? There's the epic rant. All right.
No, a lot of people were saying if it was black folks, right? Oh, yeah. Can we talk about if black folks were doing it? Yeah, it'd be a different. Even Biden said it. Biden announced his attorney general today. He even came up with this BS. If Black Lives Matter was storming the Capitol, the results would have been far different. Okay. Really? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Y'all right. It would be way different. I remember all summer, y'all burned down city after city. What did the NBA do? The NBA put Black Lives Matter on the goddamn logo, on the goddamn court, in the goddamn NBA playoffs.
Facts.
They made commercials. They made goddamn service announcements. It was Black Lives Matter everywhere. Every company got in on it.
Yep.
Every company.
Yeah.
Big money.
Oh, yo, kiss my ass. Like, what the hell y'all talking about? It'd be way different. They would have shot. You know what it really says? It really says you signed your scared as shit. Y'all don't got the balls the white man got. The white man said, fuck it, I'm gonna go get me some freedom. We going right up in the goddamn Capitol. And what you shines did, I'm gonna get me some drip. I'm gonna go to Target. I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna go to Gucci. I'm gonna do all that. White man said, fuck that goddamn drip. I'm gonna get me some goddamn freedom. That's what the white man said. The price, you heard what Malcolm said. See, y'all like to pick and choose what Malcolm says.
Yeah.
Y'all like to pick and choose. Malcolm said the price for freedom is death.
Yes.
The white man learned that. He knew that for a fact.
Yes.
They knew that. The white man knew that. 1776, motherfucker.
Yo, bro. Yo, man.
Howard.
Hotep and Bill, man. Shouts out to Uncle Hotep on that epic fucking rant.
And so right too.
Like, completely 1,000% right. Black folk, toe this shit up. We just put the meme up. With the help of white folk, with the help of Antifa and Black Bloc and all those other motherfuckers. Toe this shit up.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. Toe it up. Toe it up. Killed businesses, killed people, and they got rewarded for it. I wish I got my logo on the NBA court. I'd love to have the 3LZNT or Friday night flights down there on the court.
I want to bring your attention after that. I was saving this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show this man's face, and I want to give this man the respect he's deserved. Let me pull that picture up. Oh, come on. You know what? I'll just do the Google image or the images search here, because this man is important. Because when black men are murdered, we should care. Also, I'm catching an echo. Are you catching that echo?
There you go.
There we go. Okay. So this man right here is, let's see here. This man right here was murdered during the BLM riots. This man is a retired police officer in the Dallas, Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to protect a black-owned small business in Fort Worth, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And rioters murdered him. Enough said. If you still think that BLM was a good thing, and this is one of dozens of people murdered. There was a young black man murdered at the Chaz in Seattle as well. I have connections to this man. I'm sorry, he was in St. Louis. He was killed in Dallas, but he was retired man. Retired wonderful man trying to protect other black men's hard work that they had spent years trying to do. And build something for their community, and he was murdered for that, for trying to protect what black men had built. Here's a fun question. Let's see how many people can answer. Who, on the numbers, on paper, benefited the most from the BLM riots and movement overall? Who? Was it poor black people? No, it wasn't. It was this funky company. Black is in the name comfortably enough. Figure how that works. Black Rock Matters. Change that L to a R because that's who profited the most. This is easy to see. What did they burn down? High property, low income, high property value, low income places.
Mm-hmm.
Gentrification. Mm-hmm. They basically pulled a Tulsa massacre. But they did it. It's like, we can't do this again. We can't make hundreds or thousands of black folks homeless in the inner cities and murder them unless we tell them we're doing it for them. Because last time we tried that, it didn't work out so well when we were honest about it. So anyway, yeah, man, well, you know, that's the thing that no one wants to bring up. Why is his life any less important than anybody else's? Why are the people rotting in jail illegally, political prisoners, why are their lives any less important?
Right.
Oh, and they're black. Inconveniently for the narrative, they happen to be black folks who were standing up for their local communities and standing up for what they believed in. And now they're dead or rotting in prison. And the people who tell me that I don't care enough because of my political beliefs are liars. They do not care about you. And if you're watching and you're black, white, brown, anything, they do not care about you. They care about getting you to do what they want you to do. If you don't believe me, let's ask my man Protocol. I heard Bryson saying that when it was Antifa and MAGA people on each side, and you guys came out, people that were in the Uncle Tom doc, right, that you just showed, that MAGA was Antifa folks were screaming some of the most racist stuff. They were screaming, kill that N-word, kill that, chanting, not just, screw you, N-word. They were chanting, kill that N-word. This is Antifa doing that. And they say we're racist. Anyway, man, I'm going to calm down here, but it's such a psyop. And the fact that good friends of mine and people that know that I am 10 toes for them and I respect them with everything you can, still are like, no, BLM was good, J6 bad. It's like, bro, you don't listen to my podcast then, period.
Right.
You don't listen to Sunday Night because Protocol is right here. So you can argue all day and say I don't understand, and you know what, to a certain extent, I'm going to concede because I'm not you in the same way I can say you don't understand me to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, there is real stuff that you can talk about and reach out to people who have no idea otherwise, man. And as mad as I get at them, I have to understand they don't understand. You know what I mean? They've been lied to. And like you were saying earlier, you know what I mean? If you grow up thinking that shit is steak, you know what I mean? When you're served a steak, you're going to want shit. And I think that's where they're at right now, man. And the fact that you're still holding down a movement that did not help the people it was supposed to help, but it legitimately, money-wise, numbers-wise, disenfranchised and made more poor black people poorer, left some without homes or businesses, while putting millions of dollars into BlackRock's pockets, should say all you need to know to go, okay, I've been lied to. Simple, the end.
Yep. That should be it. But we don't see it that way. We stuck on stupid as a whole.
And do you think it's just because people are told? Because my favorite NFL player or NBA player or actor or comedian says BLM is good. Yes, it's good. And they say MAGA bad. Yes, MAGA bad. Do you think it's that simple, bro?
I think it's that simple. Oh. I think they've been simpled down to that. And it's too much work to go and do your own research to find out. But then, right on top of that, it's too much of a responsibility to be going against the athlete with all the money, the actor with all the money that everybody likes, your auntie likes, your cousin likes, your mom likes, your dad likes, your sister likes, your pastor likes. You're saying something completely different than the rich person that they all put up on a high esteem. So you're different. And you got to be wrong because this person said it and all the rest of these people are agreeing with this person. So since they agree and they feel that way and they all are feeling that way and you're the only one over here who's saying this, something's wrong. Something's wrong with you. Okay? So it's that simple as to wanting to get invited to the parties, wanting to go to the cookouts. I don't get if it's at a public spot and I'm gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna do that.
And not only that, our barbecues are way cooler. You
know what I mean? I'm gonna say, and ultimately, I'm going to have my own. But if it's at the pub, if it's If it's the Kwanzaa event, you know, and I know y'all feel some type of way about me being a Republican at the Kwanzaa event, guess what? I'm in the Kwanzaa event because it's public and this is for the people and I care about my people. And you're just going to have to be uncomfortable that I'm actually up in this thing. You're going to have to question yourself. Wait a minute. I thought that he has on this Proud Boy hoodie and they're white supremacists, but he's here at Kwanzaa. Yeah, you dirty bitch. So what does that tell you?
Yep. Hey, that's like Amy just said. I went with it because they told me I was racial. I think she meant racist if I didn't, and that's true. Oh, she's serious, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's serious. Yo, yeah. Auntie is definitely serious about rocking with RFK, and that's her prerogative. Just like I said on Twitter, you know, I got up on there and I defended her. Somebody made a statement about it, and I understand. Like, listen. She rocked with the Trump. She rocked with the conservatives. The conservatives they don't back you, right? You have some people, if you get out there and you get on the ground, you have some conservatives that you can create good, lasting relationship with. And I do business with them. I got a guy right now. He builds houses. He calls me if he got a house that he wants to tear down or he wants something gutted out. He calls me. He makes sure he feeds me work. I got people who call and check up on the kids, check up on my daughter. My daughter was born 1 month after the election. Right. So like during the whole 2020 rigmarole, my daughter was cooking and a lot of conservatives knew that my daughter was cooking. You know what I'm saying? So they, you know, I've got in with some people and it was some care. So, you know, you got some people who do care. So I'm not going to say they don't happen, but as a whole, they do not step up and get behind you as a whole. And that's what happened to Angie. Angie also had the fact that she is an outspoken woman. She just does not give a flying fuck. You know what I'm saying? So people can't take that. So they didn't dogpile on and stand up and support her like they should have, or like we would have liked them to. So it created a disconnect there. Also, you know, so outspoken, you know, you got people around Trump who was not really, even though he knew who she was and they was cool and that's his friend or whatever, you still had people who was running interference. You know, Trump said that around the January 6th time frame when he had Sidney Powell and all of them was in office, and you had these people telling Trump not to do certain things, and Trump was like, see what I did? It was Sidney Powell, it was Patrick Burns, because Patrick Burns tell the story all the time, and Rudy Giuliani and a few others, and you had people who was running interference on them, and Trump was like, see guys, got these type of people around me. This is the type of shit that I deal with. Like if I didn't have these people around me, you know what I'm saying, I could have gotten a lot more stuff done. So you have these people running interference. And I believe that Angie had interference ran in on her, you know what I mean? And it was keeping her. And that is disparaging when you're out here and you're doing something. You got these people who say that they're for the work. They're for this business. They for this part of the community and they want to see this happen. And then you're doing it and they're not putting their money where their mouth is. You know, my shit's getting burnt down and none of y'all are stepping up to make sure that I get a new one, or that, you know, the new one that I do get is well invested into and well taken care of. But JFK pull up and he does that. I'm a rock with that. You feel me? I can understand where she's coming from. Y'all running interference. Y'all ain't letting me fuck with Trump like I should. JFK pull up, or RFK pulls up. He's in here. He's holding the babies. He sees what is his. He's pouring money in. His people see what's going on. They're pouring money in. Then she offers he offers her up a position to help as far as running for office. Like, yeah, I want you to run this part of my campaign. I want you to do this. You fucking right. That's loyal. Everybody talk about, oh, she wasn't loyal to Trump. No, she still is. She does not disrespect Trump. She does not disrespect him. But she's still showing that she's loyal because this man put his money where his mouth was. He put his time where his mouth was and made it happen. So when she's offered a job to better her situation and to better Auntie Angie's house, man, you fucking right. Go get it, Angie. Go get it. And he may not make it far. Doesn't matter. It's waking up people to understand policy and what's going on. She never disrespect Trump's policy. She doesn't disrespect Trump. It's the people around Trump. And I disrespect them motherfuckers too.
Don't blame you. It was rough. Also, gotta work. If I'm a producer, I produce. Honestly, man, if I'm not there right now, but you know, if Netflix called me and said, come produce this show for $2 million, although it's going to go against some of your values. Now, I wouldn't produce something that was straight up attacking, but, if it was something that had some worldly stuff in it and some liberal stuff in it, I'd have to deal with that, right? Because I'm a producer, right? She does what she does. She reaches out. She's a communicator. She's a leader. And honestly, I think right now Trump is real. How do I say? Like, when I say covered up, I don't mean that he's not aware of what's going on, but he has shrunk his circle. He has made his circle. Because when you're a big executive, you have a big circle. You know what I mean? When you're a big executive, you have people in distribution and printing and HR and all of these places, and they're doing their job well. Or you can hold them accountable. And then he got into the political sphere, which is, there's no accountability. I mean, look at the Krasinski, blatant lie, 100% provable, easily provable lies. And they're spouting this as fact. And then it's like, that's not a lie. And it's like, well, or they're saying, hey, Krasinski, that's a lie. It's like, where? Prove it. You know what I mean? As he should have. Yep. Yeah, you got to shrink his circle. Absolutely. But the problem with shrinking your circle is sometimes you also leave some good people out.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to do that. And hopefully you get to come back around to him. I think Trump is smart. I think Trump knows the way you build a $1 billion successful business is by being able it's simple. You pick the right people. It's just that simple. You can't do it yourself. He can't swing the hammer, make sure his janitors in his high-level Trump Tower buildings are doing their job, make sure all the tenants are happy, make sure that all of his other, you've got to pick the right people. You've got to have an eye for that. And that's something that he does well. And I think that Auntie will come back around. I think that when he gets what he's supposed to be getting and what he's supposed to have, she'll come back around.
Absolutely.
He's going to call
I think
her
it's
up.
good. I think it's a good thing, honestly. I've reached out. I've talked to people in the campaign. I think a lot can happen between, these next 10 months going in. So, look for protocol. I'm going to be doing my surrogate thing. I mean, hey, every time I go live, it's right there behind me, So, I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to talk about the policy. I'm here. This is where I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm there. But it's going to get to a point to where he's going to reach out to us, right? I don't see a point to where he's not going to reach out to Angie. I'm not going to lie. 2016, my ideal ticket was Trump Bernie, right?
Right.
That was my ideal ticket. I didn't see neither one of them. I saw the same thing that happened to Bernie happening to Trump, and I thought they were going to come together on a middle ticket and just slap the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't go down that way. This time, my ideal ticket, but they're diametrically opposed, especially as I get to know more about them, was RFK and Trump. But RFK is against guns, and he's on some other stuff with some other stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I don't want that. But I don't know if RFK is going to get the access to the ballot that he needs. And I think his campaign is going to fizzle out. And I think that it's going to, by that time, there'll be a major movement of minorities for Trump in whatever capacity that is, whether it's the resurgence of Black Voices for Trump or whatever pops up. And I think it'll be the people like me, the people like HJ, the people like Sonny, the people like Auntie Angie, who's been there, you know what I'm saying? Who's okay, Trump, this is what we didn't like. However, this is what we loved, and what we loved outweighed what we didn't like. So here we are. And we're going to be the voices, you know what I'm saying, as we have been these past 8 years, right, to get things done, to get the people on board. And I think that we're going to have a major position in this. I mean, we already have a major position now, just, with the surrogacy and not getting the money. Soon they're going to come knock on the door because they can't go get a Candace Owens anymore. They can't go get a Brandon Tatum anymore because those people are... They're fucked. People realize that they don't really have their biggest audience is a bunch of white people who are already on board. Their audience isn't the newcomers. Their audience isn't the people who, did vote for Biden, but they still listen and dealt with them. It's not happening with them, but it's happening with us. think that's where we are.
Absolutely, and something I keep going back to, and why you're so important, and what you do is so important, is that all these people you mentioned, your Candace Owens, they're not in the streets. They're not at the barbecues. They're not at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not, and even past that, they're not in local politics either. They have nothing to do with local politics, and they ain't at the cookout, and they ain't at the tailgate, they ain't after party, they ain't at the city festivals. They're not in their community. They've got so much money. They're on the top floors of I know how this works. You get set up by security to be in a place where you're made to look your best. So when you receive people, you're well rehearsed and well scripted. But that's not every day. You know, that's one thing I can say about these podcasts is that whether I like it or not, and whether you like it or not, people are getting to know us.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I had to do this with HJ, and I've experienced this, but you stare at somebody for 2 hours a day for 3 months before you talk. You feel like you know them. They don't know you. They've never seen your face, but you feel like you know them. And you have to kind of work that out if you're going to work with folks. But, you know, they're not out in the streets. They get into a really nice car SUV that they're not driving, and they get sent to a studio. You know what I mean? They're outside for all of, you know, how long it takes to get from the SUV to the front door, because they ain't even parking this stuff, especially not a Candace. And then they're going to the, you know what I mean? And then they're going to the studio, they're recording, then they're back in that car and going to a really nice hotel or their beautiful home. And that's it. They're not out there. They don't understand what the people are going through. And once again, the only people that like them are white people who don't want to feel racist, basically. You know, hey, look, I'm not racist. I listen to Candace Owens. You know what I mean? I have Larry Elder, who, no hate on Larry Elder, but I'm just like, a lot of the folks that are their fans are the same fans as Steven Crowder or Glenn Beck. It's all the same folks. That's why we need a you, because you are bringing folks in that aren't in, and we need 1 million of you all across the country. But it's hard. It's hard to do what you do, my man.
It is.
And I know you know better than me.
It's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get the money for the rent.
When the Cadillac and gas money spent.
But I ain't gonna lie, boy, I've dealt with my fair share of a whole lot of bitches jumping ship.
That's all they do, man. Yeah, man. That's one of those things, man. I'm loyal to the people I'm loyal to because it's my decision. And there's a point where you get screwed over so much, you have to just take that accountability and go, either I picked the wrong people or I had a different idea in mind. And I have to take when we worked and what we created as a blessing and move on. You know, a lot of times God just tells you stuff you don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, the house is on fire, get out. But I worked hard to build this house, man, and I love this. I understand, bro, but we got to go. You know what I mean? Also, we just need 1,000 protocols because he's awesome. I agree.
Thank you. You're far too kind.
That's a screenshot if I ever seen one.
Yes.
Hold on, let me look pretty for it. Okay, now we good. Anyway. But, yeah, man, what do you make of the Epstein client list? The 4 weird, like, what the hell's going on there, man?
It's just underwhelming. It's underwhelming. It's underwhelming. What we need to be asked, I heard HJ say it. HJ said we need to be asking for the transaction list from Capital One, or not Capital One, Chase. JP Morgan Chase. We need we need it from them. Show us those transactions that happened within the islands where y'all convicted them and said that they was facilitating the money. Show us that list. My brother, the master teacher, as I call him, Shaka Shakur, he said, what about the Harvey Weinstein? You know what I'm saying? And the money and the transactions that was attached to him, because they all were connected.
I personally know people that were touched by Harvey. Personally know people. Personally. LA. I mean, that was the dude. I mean, dude, don't even get me. I mean, that was, so. Hollywood is a lot smaller than people think it is, bro. It's way smaller than people think it is. That's why they hate podcasts, and they hate us, and they hated Joe. And Joe had to get out of LA because there's no gatekeepers. We go live, we hit go live, and then we say what the hell we want. You know what I mean? So.
And
man.
You bring your ass my way. I got pistols everywhere. I got dang on shoot. I messed around. This is my first baby. This is my first concealed carry right here. You know what I'm saying? I pulled out my baby. It's so beautiful because she fits in my hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at how she just fits in my hand. You know? So like,
bro, I gotta caution you. I love you, man. But please, man, if there's one thing that the internet does not like, it's a black man holding up a gun. You know, wait. Unless you're a rapper. One thing that they do not like is a conservative black man holding up a gun. That will not stand in today's internet.
Well, you know what, man? I'll drop a beat and drop some bars on them right quick. You feel me? And then that I cover. I got the headphones on. You know what I'm saying? I even got the drops.
DJ Protocol, like that fume.
You know what I'm saying? We in there, so now we're safe. We're covered. Maybe if I got a Barack Obama book on the shelf, I'll go pick that up, and then that'll balance it out.
That backdrop is frying you, bro. You are.
Oh man.
But I love it. I love that backdrop. So you keep strong, and I'm with you all the way. So here's my you ready for the real story of Epstein that I think I've uncovered? I have no confirmation. I just think I've figured this out.
Oh shit.
He wasn't the guy.
No.
What's her name? Ghislaine
Maxwell
is the guy.
Yeah.
Think about this, man.
Yeah.
There's a funny little cartoon on Netflix called The Captain or The Fall Guy. It's and working heavily in comedy and animation, I follow this stuff because I need to. Just like Eric July reads other comic books, right? So he knows how bad they suck and what to do. Anyway, it's always about the fall guy. You always need a guy in front of the guy. Something Royce White said that I like, shout out, is if you know their names and you know their faces, they ain't running anything.
That's it.
Yeah, and that, except for Trump. I honestly believe the one person that kind of doesn't apply to is Trump to a certain extent, and Mike to a little bit, but, that's why they hate him. But regardless of that, the guy behind, because Ghislaine right now is teaching a young women's etiquette course at a federal prison that's more, look this up, dude, legit. Why is she not dead, too? Why is she not dead, bro? Why did she not Epstein herself? Why is she not locked in a deep, dark hole and getting pumped for information? Why is she teaching a young women's etiquette class in federal prison, safe as the day is long? Because she's the guy. He was not the guy. They had to get rid of him and protect her and say it was him. You want a fall guy. The people doing that at that level, we always think, it's one of those things that you'll love this, a little behavior analysis tip. If you ever want to know how someone is going to behave, ask them what they think other people would do in that position. So say me and you're on a construction site, right? And you want to know, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm a demo man. I'm 20 years in the demo business. I'm looking for work. And you're like, all right, come on in, man. And instead of just handing that man a hammer and stroking him a check, you go, okay, well, here's the job. How would you do it? If you hired somebody, if I made you the foreman and you hired somebody, what would you tell them to do? Because that's what they know to do, right? But they're not accountable. You're talking about a fake third person, right? And then they're going to tell you because they think, most people think that other people behave and think like they do. It's very simple, and that's why you have conflict. You're not thinking like me, now we have conflict, right? They needed a fall guy. Epstein wasn't the guy. Ghislaine is the guy. And that's why nobody's talking, because she's still alive. Also, look at all her connections. Look at who her father was. Look at who her grandfather was. Versus Epstein. Who's this guy that came out of nowhere? Woo, woo, woo. But then look at how connected Ghislaine is, right? And who's still alive and comfortable, and who is disappeared
allegedly.
At least. You know what I mean?
Disappeared.
So
And that's what I think. I think that he was disappeared. So I tell everyone, like, I think the name and the persona that is Jeffrey Epstein is dead. I think it is just like a business. It went bankrupt. It's belly up. It is no more. It has been dissolved, right? But the being, the body, the mind, the soul is still here somewhere else. He was the fall guy, and they offed him. No one's thinking about him anymore. And now he's living his life like it's golden. And his name is Chuck. You know what I'm saying?
I
His
understand,
name's-
man. The only reason I can't 100 on that is once again too much liability. Just easier
he's-
to take him out.
I mean,
It's
well, I
just
mean,
so
it-
much
it
easier
is
to
a
just-
lot. It is liability, but I mean, it's also like he's already done established to protect himself. You know what I'm saying? With all the other stuff, like he has put in that hard work, that hard grind, to where it's like, all right, yeah, they think you're dead. No one's thinking about you. Nobody, and it's not like he's not living in Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not there. He's in one of their remote places, wherever, just living his life like it's his best life. He's just
Living
he's
in
just
Dubai. Like a
yeah, you
champ.
know, he's just living like a champ, just doing whatever. You know, he's got a new haircut, probably got a nose job, whatever the case may be. So he's not completely recognizable, but you know, it's that. I truly believe that because he was dealing around, you know, with that much money, and I do believe that Ghislaine is the bigger person. And I think honestly, that the reason why we're not going to get the stuff outside of her still being alive.
You meant Jizz Lane, right?
Ghislaine. Yeah, she's not going to she's living where she's living. She's not going to get outed in any point or anywhere because they're all, you know, connected and powerful to the families, right? I think that whole situation was a family's situation. The same families that fund both sides of wars, right? The same families that own all the properties and all the businesses, that run all the politicians and all the governments, right? I think that they are the ones who are ultimately over these islands, these places. And they, you know, in turn use their governments to cover up whatever they need to when it comes to them in prosecution in their areas. Like, case in point, the treasure trove of documents that came out that said, oh, Bill Clinton was getting the current or hit the active FBI director at the time to cover up for Epstein Island, and was going to Vanity Fair and telling them, don't write this horrible article on my good friend Jeffrey Epstein. You know, this is what they were doing. They were using the government apparatus in particular areas to cover, so that because you do have those good people who are in these places. You got good cops, you got good FBI agents, you got good congressmen, you got good senators. And if those good people catch wind of this stuff, something can happen. They were doing what they could to cover that up. And I think this came from the top families.
I absolutely agree. I think it was I mean, you don't have to dig too deep to see that the whole thing was kind of funded by Mossad.
Yeah.
I'll leave that there because I don't want us to get fried. But we'll leave that there, and we'll leave that, you know, Ghislaine had the connections. And yeah, man, once again, gatekeepers. It's a whole thing. I just think that they had to do it on a much high, because here's the thing about kids with stars in their eyes. It's easy to fuck them over. You know what I mean? There's a million stories, you know.
It is.
Politicians, on the other hand, there's so many people coming at them with power plays and money plays that you have to go next level, like an island and a private jet and all of that. So I absolutely agree with you there. I think Ghislaine was the dude. I think that she's the mastermind. She's the one that set it all up. And she found Jeffrey Epstein and is like, do you want to be the guy? And then I personally think that they were like, we got you. Now come on with us. And they got him out of prison, and they were like, get on this flight. And as the guy was walking behind him, bam, and then no more Epstein. But that's what I think. So
Iron Man 3.
3.
Iron Man 3. The Mandarin. Right?
Yes.
Jeffrey was the Mandarin.
Yes. Yes. Manchurian Candidate, and a very much old movie that Denzel remade, actually.
Yes.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He was. I think his name was Jeffrey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think in the movie his name was.
Remember us talking a couple of weeks, like right before our 2 party streams, we were talking about how they have to tell you. Because we were talking about the End of the World movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at everything, and like if you look if you pay attention to when documentaries and movies are coming out when like Trump is in office, they're all about what shit Republicans are, period. And just, every movie has a fake bad guy that looks kind of like Trump or acts like him, or, like what is it, the thing on Amazon, the superhero movie with the star dude is a blonde-headed, blue-eyed white conservative, and it's the Antifa people. Literally in the show, they've written in, we're calling Antifa to help us. And that's Seth Rogen, who, once again, he's an on-site guy for me. So, but anyway, he's an on-site for me. That guy. And that shows you. Okay, so he is, to me, what Cat Williams was talking about. You put this man in all these movies. Now he's got a love show on Netflix, producing 3 other shows on Netflix, and he is not good-looking or talented. The Stoner movie he came out with 25 years ago wasn't a bad movie that he did not write or produce. He just showed up and smoked weed in, and all of a sudden he's the guy. But look at who his father is, and look at the producers and studio heads that are in his family, right? So, on that guy. So anyway, yeah, man, I absolutely agree with you, and I think that the Epstein stuff is a straight distraction. Period. Just a straight distraction at this point, because once again, it all boils down to accountability. You will know the tree by its fruit, and if no one is going to jail, if no one is being held accountable, and it's just a list for you to talk more to other people, it's just stupid new stuff. But I do want to end with the fun thought experiment, and that is they take Trump away, which I don't even like saying that. But if for some reason Trump is not an option, and you've got, say, Vivek, Nikki Haley, and Ron DeSantis, and on the other side, even let's go, Joe Biden isn't running, and basically the only guy they could put in is Newsom, or I guess Kamala would be the other two. On the Republican side, who you going for?
Vivek Trump.
Yes. I would love a victim on that ticket. Would be
Vivek Prez, Trump. Oh man, but then that would fuck up the dude do 45, 47. I don't know. Okay, yeah,
Trump,
I would because then that would make him, because I would love to see Vivek steps down, Trump goes to president, Trump says, hey, I want Vivek as my vice president. That shit will be hilarious. That would be like the biggest mind fuck.
You know how mad they would be? Oh my gosh. That would be
Gordon. Right. I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. But I would go for Vivek only because I don't even know. I don't even like, because again, he scares me. I like the dude. I really want to like the dude as a millennial, man. I want to like the dude, but he scares the living shit out of me. And
why?
Because my car is in the front yard and I'm sleeping with my clothes on. I came through the window last night, and I'm just playing.
And you're gone.
But yeah, man. It's just he seems too Manchurian. He seems like too perfect.
Yeah,
it's too perfect.
I kind of agree, but I saw a tweet the other day that made a lot of sense, it's not that Vivek is so great, it's just that we've been lied to by fake politicians for so long that he seems so great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I personally think he got a little deep in, and then he was like, oh no, this is a rigged game. All of these people are crooked and ugly and stupid and dirty. And it changed him. And now he's like, you know what? I don't care about being the president. I want to be the president. I believe truly that I'm the best guy for it. But if it takes me telling the truth now, and I think he had to be exposed. There's a lot of things that until I was exposed to him, I simply didn't believe him. That's, what is it? The old saying, when they came for the people I did not like, I said nothing. Then they came for my neighbors, and I still said nothing. Then they came for me, and there was no one to cry help to. And that's literally what I see they're doing. They're taking us piece by piece. And then when they come for you because you're too busy being comfortable or not wanting to start waves or, not wanting to be called racist, that when they finally come for you, all the people that could have helped you are gone already. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, man. It's a perpetuation of a lie. And I know we're going on about 3 hours, so I really wanted to leave with this. And this is one of my favorite sayings because right now you hear a lot about democracy. You know what I mean? A whole lot about democracy and how we've got to save our democracy and, that BS. So,
BS, right.
And no one talks about a constitutional republic, which is what we are actually in. And the whole point is, what is democracy versus a constitutional republic? And that's what I wanted to bring up here, except I'm not finding a good look on it because there's so many people not describing it properly. But that is the quote by Benjamin Franklin that simply says, democracy is 2 wolves and a lamb deciding what's for dinner. And I completely agree with that. and the continuation of it is a constitutional republic is the lamb being armed. That's it. That's, it's the lamb being armed. So we have a fighting chance. You know what I mean? Smoke City says, damn, RFK Jr. means us no good. You should check his interview by Crystal Ball. Israel has their hands so far up him, he will never sit down. Look, man, I'll tell you, RFK is not my guy for 2 reasons. 1, guns. 2, abortion. It's that simple. And I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for a candidate unless they come out completely pro-life. I probably would vote for that guy because he's have to be so check boxes on all the other things. But Trump is the harshest on abortion at this point. And not only that, but, guns and all of that stuff. But anybody who is, extremely pro-choice and extremely anti-gun, no matter how much I agree on other stuff, those are two deeply rooted core principles that I can't, I can't shake. And so that's the reason I can't. I like a lot of what he says. I don't disagree with him on a lot of things. But, yeah, that's the thing there. So here's the quote. I just wanted to pull that up. If y'all can see that, I know it's a little small there, which is why I was trying to find the thing. But basically, Benjamin Franklin said, democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. And then a constitutional republic is the sheep being armed. And that's what we have. And when they come after your guns, they come after your ability to drive on the street, which they're doing now. When they tell you can't love your neighbors, it's a bunch of BS. And we are in a constitutional republic. There is no democracy to save because we're not in a democracy. We're in a constitutional republic, which protects people way more than a democracy does. Especially if you believe the votes aren't straight and how we vote isn't straight. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that before we call it a night, man.
This is a motherfucking constitutional republic. When asked, what do we have? It was said a republic if we can keep it. I'm going to fight for it. See, the Democrats know that there's a failsafe to create a new form of government. And that's what they're trying to do. They have insurrected, honestly, our governmental system, and they're trying to bring in something new. We must fight to keep our republic. We must fight to keep our representatives. We do not want to go the way of the majority of the whole. We want to go the way of the majority of the micro. It's all about your local communities and what's best for you. Point blank, full stop. We have to get up on our education as far as governmental systems, knowing what they are, what they do, what's the difference in them, the good, the bad, the ugly, because see, this is an experiment that we steady expound on. but we have to be in the game. I am not a sheep. I'm a wolf. I'm a wolf that understands that the sheep got to live too. If I want to continue to eat, I can't just kill off the sheep just to kill off the sheep, because then I ain't going to have no sheep to eat. But I'm sure we can come to some kind of agreement to where the sheep will, do what they need to do. And when I eat a sheep, they'll just be like, Mufasa and how he felt in the circle of life, The lions eat the antelope die and turn into grass. The lions die, they turn into grass. The antelope eats the grass. The lion eats the antelope, and so forth and so on. It's the circle of life. If we can come up to that understanding of circle of life, amen.
I think maybe, and I agree, we have to be wolves out here. But I think maybe, we protect the sheep in a way, right? Like, I'm more of a sheepdog than a wolf. I just am. Always will be. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
There's something that's triggered in me when I see older people. In fact, today at the gym, getting out of the sauna, there was me and one old man in there, and this young dude was a real jerk and almost got into a straight fist fight. I was like, step in this sauna right now and let's talk about this. And he had to go get his manager. So, because, anybody I feel that is inherently not as strong as the people oppressing them, I want to fight for those folk.
Right.
But I think when it comes to what we consider sheep, as far as, in the political sphere, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, but these are our voters. These are the people that want nothing to do with this dirty world. They don't want to be. They're on Facebook to share pictures of, what they had for lunch after church. And that's the extent of it. You know what I mean? And they want to vote and they want to live their life. A sheep wants to be sheared. And we can use that, and we need their shearing, and then they want to be left alone and eat their grass. We have to protect them from the other wolves. You know what I mean? We have to understand that a lot of people aren't warriors like us, nor are they called to be, and that's okay. There's a lot of people that, one of my favorite sayings is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Absolutely.
And that's fair.
Absolutely.
But I also need farmers. I need doctors. I need dentists. You know what I mean? I think we need comedians and musicians every bit as much. And a lot of these people aren't called to fight the war. They're called to do things we need to do so we can stay strong in fighting the war. And for those sheep, we got your back. That's why we're here. That's why family and friends don't call us back anymore. That's why there are barbecues we won't get invited to. That's why we're considered social pariahs on that. So, you can see that's the problem. You inspire me, and I'm going to leave you with the last word, and then you inspire me. I start talking. It's all right. We'll calm down. Next show will be better. Although I'm very proud of this one.
This show was great. This show was great.
I overtalked you a little bit.
I like everybody who came in. Yeah, man. This was up, man. We needed this. We needed this good 3-hour push. So I appreciate it, man. It was a good, fun night. Shouts out to everybody who checked in, man. Anti Conspiracy, my boy LS, Smoke City, Amy Hall. The other people who are lurking over on YouTube and Rumble. I see numbers on YouTube and Rumble. You guys could hit the like button and you could share. And there's nothing wrong with commenting now because I see you guys watching. So you could at least say hi or hit the like or something. I mean, goodness, guys. Still love you, though. Much appreciated.
Some people are hate watching now. I mean, you always get hater. You know what I mean?
Like,
people are hate watching, and I love it. Hate me. Hate me.
Yes, that's it. If you watch and don't say anything, I'm going to take it as you're hate watching.
Tune in every Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 8 Central for Rumble on Rumble, the hottest podcast bringing you the rawest truth. Also, I need you to do me a favor, guys. If you're watching, I need you to do me a serious favor. I need you to go to Twitter and follow C_PortPro right now. You can look up Protocol with a K, and you'll see my man. If you see a lovely, beautiful face with that sexy beard right there, you follow that man. You know what I mean? That's the man. Please follow him. And every Friday Night Flights, he gets deep into stuff. You got to be ready for it. And, sometimes get your, there you go, Seaport Pro, y'all. Not underscore, that's the other one. Sorry. So many Twitter handles nowadays. And then Friday Night Flights. Yes, look it up. He breaks stuff down. It's an education. I mean, sometimes I'll be like taking notes, right? Because it's like, he's breaking so much stuff down that you have to take notes. He gets really into it, and you will be educated on things like constitutional republics versus democracies. And he breaks it down to the very local, in his city level that every man needs to figure out how to do. And then he takes it broader to what's going on in the country. So please check him out, y'all. It would be a personal favor, and it means a lot to your boy. So thank you.
Appreciate
All right.
that, man.
Anything else?
Nah, man. I smell
right.
my food in the oven, bro. I'm about to go get down to it.
Yes, sir. I got to eat myself. God bless y'all. Thank you so much. We will see you next Sunday. We'll see you Friday night. I'll be in the chat. Thank you, guys. God bless, and good night.
Good night.